Hey, YouTube, come on in, come on in. Let's catch up. Happy Friday, happy Friday. Come on in. We got some things to talk about. Come on in. It's kind of warm. It's cold, then it's kind of warm. So let me come out the jacket. Come on in, hit the like button as you come on in. We got to catch up. We got to catch up. I didn't come on yesterday, so I want to catch up, tap in with you all. Weekends get crazy, so I want to find some time to check in. It's been a lot going on, some changes with the administration, some things that they have talked about. As far as the Trump administration, there's some things they've talked about, and there's some things that they haven't talked about, but everyone else is talking about. So come on in, hit the like button as you come on in, please. How are you? Okay, let me see. Let me try to connect. I'm gonna connect my phone to my selfie stick. Come on in. How you doing? How are you? Hit the like button as you come on in. Okay, let's do this. Come on in, everyone. I'm gonna get my life in order while people come on in. Hopefully it won't be too crazy of a live. You just never know on this channel. You just never know. You just never know. Hopefully we won't mess around and get shadow banned again. Lord Jesus. Be talking to my dang self. YouTube be like, Chic with the shits again. We got to shut her down. We got to shut her down. Y'all know how they do me. Y'all know how YouTube be doing me. That's it's that damn lady again. Listen. Next thing you know, y'all, I go from like 60 people down to 2. But that don't stop me. Guess what? I still be damn talking. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I'm going to talk my talk. As long as y'all show up, I'm going to talk my talk. And even when the numbers start dropping, I'm going to still talk my talk. Because I got some damn stuff to say. Shit. I got some stuff to say. And I know you all do as well. So come on in, engage. Talk your talk in the comments. Just be respectful. I want to talk about some things. I want to talk about the Department of Education. Listen, that's just impacting everybody in the U.S. And here's the thing, even if you don't have any children in the school, it's still going to impact you because, damn it, the money got to come from somewhere. So if you somewhere living in a place to where there are schools in the community, guess what? They're going to find a way to have the people in the community fund these schools. Come on in. Come on in. We're going to talk about it because I want you to get ready. I want you to be as prepared as possible for the changes that are to come. I think when election time comes for, your local, your local constituents, I think a lot of them are going to be running on, they're going to be running on that, how do I want to say it? It's going to be heavy in conversation about like funding for the schools, taxes, things like that, because I really feel like to make up for this money that the federal government is saying they're not going to give to the states, I feel like that money is going to come from the schools. I mean, not from the schools, but I feel like the money is going to come from taxes. So I feel like people's property taxes are going to increase, and your state tax may even increase. So as I say, even if you don't have children that are in school, because there are a lot of people who are empty nesters or people who just said, listen, I don't want no kids. They just didn't have kids. But I feel like anyone who's living within a community, paying taxes, and living near schools, like the money got to come from somewhere. And I feel like the money is going to come from the taxes. They are going to increase your taxes. That's just, listen, I'm trying to figure out, make sense, because listen, the money got to come from somewhere. Trump said, goddamn it, we ain't got it. Trump said, don't look for us, goddamn it, we ain't got it. We done had it for eons. We ain't got it no more. We ain't got no goddamn money. We ain't got it. So If Trump talking about he ain't got it, the states, I feel like a lot of the states are going to be on the I ain't got it either. So where's the money coming from? Where's the money going to come from? And that's why I feel like taxes are going to go up. And when it comes time for election time in your state, it's going to be a heavy topic because it's going there a discussion is going to need to be had as to how the funding, how these schools are going to be funded. How's the lunch program going to be funded? So the Trump administration said that they will still continue to provide funding for the federal loans, and they will still provide funding for programs for special programs. So I think a lot of those programs that people were concerned about that are in schools that help children who need like extra assistance, things like that. I guess the federal government was already kind of providing funding for those type of special programs for the kids that need like the extra assistance and things like that. The Trump administration is saying, hey, going to, we're still going to fund that. We're still going to fund that. So business as usual when it comes to the lunch, the children's, not the lunch, I'm sorry. Business as usual when it comes to just the educational program centered around kids who need like the extra help and things like that. We still gonna go with that. And then federal loans. So some of you may currently be a student, you may be in school, and you are going to school on federal funding. Trump is saying, hey, we're still going to support that and have those funds available if you do have to take out these loans for college, because that was a concern I had when I learned of him wanting to just get rid of the Department of Education. And I knew that, okay, the FAFSA, the federal funding program where a lot of college students, get the money from, I knew that was a part of that. So the concern I had as a parent of a college student was, okay, what happens with that program where for those families who do rely on the federal funding? So I recently learned that the federal government will still support that. They will still provide or offer the opportunities for you to take out those loans to pay for your education, because a lot of people, they don't have the money. College is expensive. College is expensive in the USA, so a lot of people don't have the money. So they rely on these loans to, get them through in hopes that they land a good job where they can start paying that money back. So as far as with the program or those who will no longer benefit from these loans or the money's coming from the federal government, is heavily pretty much like your local schools in your community, like your grade schools, K through 12. Right now, or historically, they provided a lot of money. They funded a lot of money into these schools. And hey, Iman, what's up? Hey, hit the like button for me as you come on in. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can't hear me. I'm sitting in front of my house, so hopefully the reception is good, because I just want to start out here because I wanted to kind of engage more. It's hard for me to engage a lot and get into the comments when I'm walking and moving around. So I want to be stationary for this particular live. So please come on in, hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you. What was I saying? So your local schools. I want to talk about the impact of the dismantle of the Department of Education and how it will or how it could impact your schools, your children's schools, just the schools within your community. What's up, DJ? How you doing? I want to talk about how the dismantle of the Department of Education is going to impact you, because it's going to impact all of us. Like I said, whether you have children or not, it's still going to impact you because the money got to come from somewhere. And these kids still have to have an education. They still got to go to these schools. Like, they still got to have food, like that, all of that. So, when a child needs what they need, it doesn't matter. That child really don't care like who it comes from. They're like, listen, I need these things, I need a classroom to go to. I need books. I need food when I'm at school. Like, I need these things. I need pens. I need paper. I need these things. So children don't worry about those details, those things that we as adults are tasked with worrying about as to where is it going to come from. So that's a part of the conversation, or that's the conversation that's been had. Where is it going to come from? Where's the money going to come from? Trump talked about how he's not happy with the quality of the education. He's like, okay, the federal government has been providing millions of dollars, funneling money into just the schools for all of the states. But when you look at the scores, like our scores are not collectively, just as a nation, we're not competing against these other countries like China, Russia, like all these other countries, like they're running circles around us when it comes to education, and that's the whole problem. He feels that, okay, well then fine, let's kick it back to the state level and see if it'll improve. Now the part I'm trying to understand is what his thought process is with snatching the funds and saying, okay, states, you got it, each state, you all just take financial control over your own, you just take control over your own state. I'm not following really the logic behind why he wants to do it, other than him saying, hey, we just don't want to pay for it anymore. I only follow just the money, with him saying, hey, we just don't want to pay for it anymore. States, you pay for your own education. But for him to, complain about the quality of the schools, snatching the money, I'm not really sure how making each state responsible for like the education for where they live, I'm not quite sure how that's going to improve test scores. Y'all can let me know, because that's the part that I'm missing. To me, I feel like it's going to get worse, because now these each state, a lot of them are going to be doing more with less. And what I mean by that is that there are going to be teachers, because it already started happening, who will be losing their jobs. Why? Because the state is not going to be able to afford to pay their salaries to keep them on payroll to continue to teach at said school. It already has started to happen. I talked about it before. There was a woman who said that she probably lost her job maybe like a week ago. She said that her salary was being paid for by funds that was being funneled into her school or her school district from the pandemic. A lot of folks was coming up off of the pandemic money, so I guess her job was coming up off of the pandemic money. So her salary was being paid by money from the pandemic, where I guess the federal government was saying, hey, we got this going on. Because I think probably too what happened, what probably why the government started giving out more money. Do y'all remember like during the pandemic, and when all those kids had to be taught at home for like a year, and then the next year when schools opened, like a lot of the kids were like behind, because when they were at home, like a lot of them weren't really learning. Do y'all remember when I was in heavy conversation, they were like, it was almost like a wasted year, because during that whole year, a lot of kids, they didn't have the supports. Parents still trying, especially if you're in a single parent household, you're an adult and you got multiple kids, you're doing it by yourself, you got to go to work. It's not enough hours in a day. You're just one person, and you got multiple children in the house that you're trying to be a homeschool teacher for. Like, that didn't work out. DJ, you said, I remember that was during COVID-19. Yes, that was a mess for a lot of families. For me, just having three kids, it was just a lot. It was a lot. I was working from home doing my job, but it was a lot, because that year when it happened, I had one child in elementary, I had one child in middle school, and I had one child in high school. It was a lot, because I was getting email communications from three different schools, and two out of the three kids had what, six, seven classes? So that means I was getting all, child. Y'all lucky y'all seeing these locks still on my damn head. Because it was a lot. I was like talk about overstimulated. It was just a lot with hearing from all these people, and then trying to make sure, okay, you're making sure the technology is good and the stuff's working. The kids know where they need to go inside of the portal to find their assignments, making sure that they getting it done, making sure that they know how to upload the assignment, because it was something that they was working on that was on like paper, hard paper, and they was writing, and they got to figure out how to upload this. It was a lot. So Fortunately, during that period, my three children, none of them kind of fell behind with anything. But I know that wasn't the story for a lot of families, a lot of children. There were a lot of children who fell behind that year. It was viewed as though they lost a full year. So when this teacher talked about how her salary was being paid for from the monies that was coming in from the pandemic, it made me think about, okay, maybe with that federal government sending, putting more money into these schools, so therefore they can get more teachers, more help to get these kids up to par. So now, fast forward, let's say 5 years later, Trump, Elon, whatever, they're doing their audits, and they're like, okay, X amount of monies, millions of dollars was given out from pandemic money because of whatever. They're like, okay, we've moved past that. We no longer need to pay out that money. We're not, the pandemic isn't a thing anymore. So let's just stop paying that money, period. So when that money stopped, the schools had to have a conversations with the staff, with the teachers, to say, you know what, we can't continue to keep you on because we're no longer getting that funding to pay your salary. How many school districts are going to have this conversation between the staff, the administration, and the teachers, where they're going to be like, listen, the money that we were given, we're not getting it anymore. So we have to let you go. So it's going to be real interesting, you all, come next school year in the fall when the children K through 12 have to go back to school, and a lot of the teachers aren't going to be there. That's what you need to understand. A lot of the teachers are not going to be returning back to their jobs in the fall, which means that it's going to be larger classroom sizes. And how many years have we talked about how large these classrooms are, and a lot of the kids not getting their needs met because it's just too many kids. 30 plus 40, to me, when I think of a classroom, 30 kids to one teacher, to me seems a lot. I don't know. I know my kids started out going to private school. When they were in private school, the most they were in the class with was 9 kids. Once they started going to public school, that number went up to 18. In a really, really good school district, they had 18. Then as they end up going to other schools and things like that, the number increased. So that makes a difference as well with the quality of your school, your zip code. See, a lot of these communities, the communities that got the better neighborhoods, you call them like that rich neighborhood. Everybody got an area where ooh, that's the neighborhood where they got the money at. That community, that zip code, tend to have more resources. They have more resources. Resources meaning money, resources meaning people who actually pour into the schools, who provide their time. That's real. Your mom said, I remember parents complaining at work about their children's struggle at the time. Yes, like really, when you think about it, it was like a real thing. It was like major. I remember it being talked about in on news outlets with how the children were performing. Actually, that was a big push as to why people were pushing for their children to go back to school, because they felt like their kids were not learning. I think Georgia was one of the first states to where they were like, F that, like, because we're a Republican state. No matter what you hear, our governor, Kemp, he's a Republican. He was like, no, we're going to send the kids back to school. Y'all remember when it was a big old thing? Then when you got those who started saying F that, we send our kids back to school, guess what? Everybody else started following suit, saying, okay, we going to do it. Because nobody wanted to be the first to say, oh, they sending their kids back to school, because it was just pushed to be this scary thing. The Democrats pushed for this COVID, this C-19 to be such a scary thing, to where people were afraid to leave their homes and didn't want to send their children to school. So kids were suffering at home because guess what? They were not learning. They weren't learning. And then finally, because you had some Republican states are like, F that, no, we sending our kids back to school. And they went back to school. And guess what? They was all right. They was all right. But a lot of people were operating out of fear. A lot of people are operating out of fear. So now with the dismantle of the Department of Education, People are losing their jobs as if that wasn't already happening in large numbers. So now you got teachers who are now getting their walking papers, because teachers are, I don't know if you all know, some of you may be a teacher in here, but from what my understanding is with teachers, they operate from like a contract. Like each year, it's like a new contract that they sign to say, okay, yes, you're coming back on the next year. So for me, with me having this basic understanding of teachers working from a contract, basically it's saying, hey, your contract isn't being renewed, meaning you're not coming back the next school year. That's what that means to me. And what's going to be telling is, like I said, when the school year starts, when we hear talks of there not being enough teachers in the classrooms, or the schools being in need of substitute teachers because there's this shortage. There's this shortage. It's crazy. Dr. J says, I attended a town hall meeting last night. Congress representatives said that the rural districts are going to really suffer. Yeah, hell, they already suffering. Think about it. If the rural districts are already suffering when they had federal funding, does it make sense that they going to do better without federal funding? No, they're not. So that's why I really want to know, and I haven't heard really Trump say it. What's the real reason behind pulling the funding other than just not wanting to pay for it? Because it has absolutely nothing to do with improving the quality of education for the children. That makes no sense. You're pulling funds. Funds is resources. When has that ever been a thing to pull back your money, to pull back funds and resources for the sake of something being better? Think about it. You pulling back, you're removing resources, you're removing money, and you're in the next breath you're saying it needs to get better. That makes no sense. It's the opposite, right? You pour into it. If anything, you're saying, okay, this shit is effed up. We need to pour more into it because we got to make it better. I really think, too, that what contributes to why our country's quality of education is like in the gutter, I don't think that is necessarily just we got teachers that don't care. I think that our country does not pour into our teachers, our educators, the way they should. Pay. How long have we talked about teachers being underpaid? Dealing with these badass kids, these kids, you know your goddamn child is damn hard-headed. You know your child. So for you to be going to that school during parent-teacher conference, acting all shocked and surprised, but by what the hell they said, little Ray Ray ass and done, Monica badass and done. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know your damn child bad, which is why the hell you send their asses to school, whether they sick or not. You said you getting the hell out of here because they done tap dance on your that last damn nerves. So you sending their asses to school. So don't do that. So a lot of times what happens is that the teachers, they're human too, and they start to psychologically tap out because I've heard many teachers say they don't feel like the school district, like they support them the way they should. They feel like the schools, it's like they don't hear their cries. They if a parent's complaining about something, or say that student got an issue, they hearing them out. But for the teachers, it's like, just suck it up, buttercup. You ain't paying me enough to say suck it up, buttercup. So I think this is why our education is so piss poor, is because teachers are like, okay, you get what you pay for. You got some teachers that's going to be going above and beyond regardless, but you got a lot of them that say, you know what, I'm tired. I can show you better than I can tell you. You only want to pay me pennies. All right, I'm going to give you the pennies quality. I feel like this is a mindset. Is it good? No, it's not good, but it is. These are human. They're human as well. I think that the solution should be, teachers, we're going to pay you more money to do what it is you do. Guess what? By you doing that, it's going to incentivize more people to want to go into the field of education, right? I can't dare remember the last time I heard somebody talking about, I want to be a school teacher. Who running around here talking about, I want to be a school teacher? People I know who end up working in a school, that's because they couldn't get a job nowhere else. And a lot of them, they substitute teachers. And all you need is at least 60 credit hours, college credit hours. So it's more of like a backup plan. And guess what? People are like, people are treating it like that as far as the energy that they're putting into it, that it's a backup plan. It's something that I'm doing until something else comes along. What they say, you get what you pay for. So if you ain't paying nothing, guess what? You ain't gonna get nothing. I'm just saying, y'all. It sound goddamn simple to me. Hey, what's up, Steven? You said that's everywhere. CNA that has to take care of others, retailers, security officers, etc. Dr. J said starting salary for a teacher with a BS degree is 42 to 45. Sadly, I know people who have no education who starts out making that, or who make that, or even make more. That is crazy work. What's up, Open Book? How are you? That's crazy. That's crazy. And that's why I feel like our education is in the gutter. Our education system is in a gutter. It's not, it has nothing to do with, okay, yeah, it's the personality of the people. It's you're not pouring into your teachers. So they not going above and beyond like that. You typically gonna get that type of treatment when your child is in like a private school or something like that, or even like a magnet school. Y'all have those in your community? We have like the magnet schools. You get in through like a lottery. You can get into magnet school through a lottery. Typically, when something seems kind of more exclusive and then the head count is lower, then people are going to, they're going to view it better. They're going to treat it better. They're going to, they're going to feel like, okay, they're special, that people actually care about what's going on with their child. The resources and things that that should come into the school. Like parents are going to be more involved. So again, it's the mindset. And so right now, I feel like with the removal of the resources, with the money that the federal government's doing, it's not going to be beneficial for the schools. It's not. And we'll hear about it. We're not going to see an increase in test scores as a result of them dismantling the Department of Education. You're not going to see that. You're going to see the numbers still just continue to plummet. If anything, you all, I expect for them to look worse than better. I think you're going to have very few states to where, now that things are kicked back to the state level, to where they're going to really take charge and say, okay, we got to get this under control. We got to take this serious. You're going to have those states, but I don't think that's going to be the vast majority, especially the ones that are already doing poor. I think I can foresee a lot of families choosing their state where they want to live, the state, based off of the quality of the school. Now that the states is kicked down to the state level, like Trump, when he was talking, he talked about the state of Texas and said they had good schools and things like that. I'm not familiar with Texas like that, but he spoke on Texas and used them as an example of having a good school. He compared them to another school. I don't know if it was a school in the South, Kentucky or somewhere, but he compared them to another school that was just not good at all. And he said even the high schoolers couldn't do basic math. He said he asked the administration, they're like, well, what's considered basic math? And they were like, well, just adding numbers. He said those high schoolers were unable to do that. So I feel like when you have a state that's already performing that way with federal funding, it's not going to get better now that you're removing it. It's going to get worse. But I feel like the states that already have been doing pretty well and decent, I think there's a chance where you may see them either stay the same or improve some. But as an overall, because, when they look at the quality of just the U.S. schools, they're not drilling in by each state. It's an average. They're reviewing like the whole nation. I don't think our numbers are going to change. I think we're going to still remain at the bottom. So what's the solution? What's the answer? Pay these teachers. Pay them. That's the solution. You got to pay them. I'm willing to bet that if they paid and they started offering teachers more money, let me just say, I'll say they start ran a campaign and say we were going to start teachers out with $60,000, you'll get a different type of response. You'll have an influx of people showing interest in teaching. And then if you add in, okay, and we'll incentivize it, and based on how well your students perform, that's an incentive for you to get a bonus. Yeah, man, them damn teachers gonna be killing it. They gonna be offering after school programs like weekends because there's an incentive there. And yes, people are moved by money, but money is a sign of appreciation. There's nothing wrong with that. What someone is willing to pay you, it shows that they appreciate what it is you do and the value that they see in you, the value they've placed on you. So if you say, hey, teachers, coming out of college, we'll start you out with $60,000. And after maybe the first 5 years of teaching, you can then be a part of a program to where you can receive a bonus, a $3,000 to $5,000 bonus each year based on how your students perform, or your merit increase being based off of how your students perform. Y'all don't think that'll make a difference to where what's going on in these classrooms? If there was something like that in place, I don't know how the hell not. I don't know how the hell not. Here, the logic behind it is, look how many kids out here want to be rappers and athletes. Why do y'all think that is? They aspire to be like those people because of the money. It's the money. Money moves people. That is why they aspire. Content creation, anything. They see the money that can be made with it. So they're saying, hey, I want to do that. I want to get to it. Makes sense to me. So why can't you view education that way and say, okay, we see what it is. People are moved by money, just like us politicians. Politicians, y'all asses ain't the only ones moved by money. We move by money too now. We are moved by money too. So when it comes to these schools, start throwing more money at these teachers. That's what you do. You don't pull back the money. You throw more money into it and you offer incentives for them to do better. And they're going to continuously do better because they know the better I do, the better my children perform. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. There's no reason why teachers shouldn't be some of your higher paid professionals. I've always felt that way. Teachers should be some of the highest paid professionals, but guess what? They're not. They're not. You talking about $45,000 starting out of college? What? But though you got an engineer that can start out at least $60,000, a teacher need to be able to make money like that. They are dealing with your children, our children, the future. Your children, once they start school, they're at school during more of their waking hours than they are at home with their families. So why wouldn't you want to pay the person who your child is with more during the day than you? Why wouldn't you want to pay them? It makes sense to me, but this is how we're taking an L. And until somebody goddamn figure it out, we're going to continue to still take this L. Dr. J said, I think the results will take a deep dive. Unfortunately, results will get worse. Yvonne says, extra incentives for black male teachers. Yes, there are so very few black male teachers. My daughter has never had a black male teacher. My two sons, each of them have had a black male teacher once before. And they had a black male tutor before. And I will say that my sons responded very well to these black men when it came to school, in particular with math. It was something about with my middle son, he's 16, my middle child, but he's my second son, he's 16. And he, I think in grade 4, it was, I think he was in grade 3 or 4, he had a black teacher. That was the first time he had a black male teacher. And he taught math, and I think he taught another subject for my son. But that was a turning point when it came to my son in math. That became his strongest subject after that year of working with that teacher. It was just some type of way that that black man was able to connect with my son, to where it was able to click to him, to where after that, every year in all his grades, his math grade would be like his higher grade. Whereas prior to working with that teacher in the lower grades, his math grade was his lowest grade. So, yes, they need to offer incentives for teachers, in particular black male teachers. Either way is rooted in, you got to pay these people money. You got to pay like you weigh. Listen, you got to pay like you weigh. You can't get something for nothing. And politicians know this more than anybody. They know. So I don't even understand why it's such a hard concept to understand that our kids are performing the way they are, is because our teachers are overworked and underpaid. It's crazy, but they plan crazy. They can play crazy if they want to. But here's the thing: our children are just going to continue to suffer, and a lot of the children who do go to school, they don't have the supports at home like they should. A lot of kids, especially in the black community, they're in single parent homes. So mama just holding it down. She's working however many hours she's working, sometimes two jobs. The kids are at home maybe with the older sibling. That older sibling could be in a fifth grader or a middle schooler. But mama is wherever she is trying to make money to buy food and keep a roof over their head. So the children are at home. The oldest child is the one that's holding it down. And that oldest child can't do it all. The oldest child can't teach the kid. Like, the oldest child is even damn stretched thin. Everybody's stretched thin. This is unfortunately the way a lot of black American households look. This is the black household. Lack of supports. One parent holding it down. Some of the families where it's not even neither the mama or the daddy there, the children are with grandparents. There are a lot of grandmas who are taking care of their grandchildren. I don't know how it's going down in the other cultural groups, but I can tell you in the black community, there are a lot of children in the homes with grandma. And if there was a man around, grandpa around, but y'all know in the black community, them days of grandma, grandpa are kind of old, long gone. Grandma just is single. Grandma single, mama single, auntie single. It's our community doesn't have like that nuclear family anymore. And I was just telling my daughter, we were talking as we got our son for his birthday that just passed, a car. And we were talking and she made this comment like, oh my God, we're such a nuclear family. And I'm like, we are. But the thing about it, you're going to come to see that it's a rarity. You are going to come to see and one day appreciate the blessing in that, because it's not what most families in the black community look like and consist of. A mama and a daddy working together to try to keep the boat going. That's not how our families is made up. It's one parent just trying their best to just try to make it work, and they just operating on a wing and a prayer, just hoping that they don't F up the child. Because even us married people coupled up, we hoping we ain't gonna F the child up. So I can only imagine what the struggle is like for somebody who is doing it by themselves. It is hard work to raise children. Just like I understand it's hard work to teach children in the classroom. I understand. I don't have to be in a classroom, experience it to understand that, damn, that's a hard job. Just like being a parent is a hard job. You got to rear these kids. You got to guide them. You got to tell them right from wrong. And child, you got to do all that without putting your hands on them. Because the kids got rights. They have you locked up. I know how often we hear about these teachers getting locked up. Because the kids can get to swinging and tussling, but you can't. Listen, even the teachers that don't even swing back, they even losing their jobs. So you damned if you do, damned if you don't. I need to understand what's the protocol for the teacher. Because I be seeing the teacher just getting the hell beat up out of them. And next thing you know, you done heard Miss Johnson and got fired because she got to fight with Keisha. Well, Keisha kicked the hell out of her, beat her ass. So how Miss Johnson lose her job? How that work? When Miss Johnson now at the unemployment after she done got her ass whooped by Keisha. Because she told Keisha to put her phone up. Like, this that stuff I'm talking about. But then Miss Johnson got to get her ass kicked for $40,000. with 5 years of teaching experience and she getting her ass kicked for 40,000. The hell you say? If I'm be getting my goddamn ass kicked, I need a check. This shit need to be lined up like with the boxing matches in Las Vegas at the NGM type shit. You know, Tyson signing up to fight the white boy, whatever. He walking away. He might get his head knocked off, but he walking away with a goddamn check. I need a check. If I'm getting my ass kicked, hell, especially you got half these kids in school got on need either on some type of medication or goddamn it need to be on some type of medication. These kids ain't right in the head, but you but you the one losing your job and stuff because they done spazzed out over you on you, but though now you the one that lost your job and you getting paid pennies. It don't make sense. So this is why our shit fucked up. If anybody want to know, I hope you have a good understanding now as to why our shit fucked up. DJ say fact sheet. Listen, tell me when I'm told a lie. Yvonne says, so do you think we will begin to see more homeschooling in most states? I definitely feel like we'll see more homeschooling now with the use of AI. You can do a lot with AI. And I think now with these resources, I think parents who have the means to be able to maybe stay at home, I think families are going to be having conversations centered around alternatives for education for their children, whether they're going to put them in private school, whether they're going to try to put them on the list for magnet schools. You know, those schools typically are like a lottery type, situation where they draw a number and you just hope that your child's number is pulled. And then you're going to have the homeschooling. So even with the homeschooling, if your child is typically, from what I've come to learn, like an elementary school or middle schooler, an adult needs to be there present when they're at home doing schoolwork versus like if your child is in high school, they can do that independently. So me living in Georgia, that's what I've come to learn, at least with a particular homeschooling program, the rules centered around that. So not all families are going to have it like that to where one parent is going to be able to stay at home and to just homeschool the kids. But I think that more families are going to start to work together and be resourceful and have these conversations now that there's going to be a change with the education system. So I think for the first time, probably going into the next school year, you're probably going to see an increase in students who are going to be homeschooled. I think the number is going to go up. Rightfully so. I think the number is going to go up. For me, with the situation, because my child, I have a son who will be a senior in the fall, and then my daughter, she's currently in the 9th grade. So my son, he's on his way out of high school. He just has one more year to get through. My daughter, she still has about 3 more years, but she's a gifted student. So she doesn't require really any damn body to learn. She's just smart like that. So for her, and that's not the vast majority of the children, for her, lack of resources, somebody being available to help, like that's not a thing for her because she gets it. She can do shit in her sleep. She's one of those children. But how many kids are like that? Most of them aren't. She's just special in that small category. So most of the kids, they do need some type of help. They do need some type of supports. They do need that. And that would have been more so like with my sons. But fortunately, they're kind of, one is already in college and one is on his way out of high school. So they're leaving. So they're not going to be around to really experience the impact of what's about to pop off. You see what I'm saying? They're not going to experience that. My daughter will be in the school system, but it won't affect her because of the type of learner that she is. But I understand that everybody don't learn like my daughter. Hell, my 2 sons don't even learn like my daughter. She's just different like that. So I'm talking from the perspective like all those other kids who learn like maybe like your normal person, because my daughter not the normal learning person, but like the normal person to where sometimes you need help. You need to be able to call on somebody or to have somebody to kind of put some extra time into you to show you how to do stuff. That's going to be most kids. That's normal. That's normal. So the normal kids, they're not going to have somebody like that to just be able to pour into them, to show them how to do what it is they need to do. It's not that's not going to be the case. They're going to struggle, and you're going to have more kids down the line talking about they graduated high school and they didn't know how to read or write. NYC girl, what's up? You said, listen, they kids are different, seriously. And if the teacher is not messing, dating the kids, they tired of them. Today in my town, none of the teachers showed up. They had to close. What state? Where you live? Well, you said NYC girl, so that's New York then. A lot of pulling their kids to sacrifice homeschool. NYC girl said that orange clown, even animal, is damage control top tier. NYC, you said the IEP kids are really going to struggle. Yes. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody don't get it like that, to where they can show up to school. The teacher stand at the front of the classroom and she got 40, 50 kids in there, and then she say her thing, and then all the kids get it and they Gucci. That's not most kids. That is not most kids. They're going to get lost in the sauce. They're going to be lost in the sauce. It's crazy, but it's going to show up in the test scores. The numbers don't lie. It's going to show up in the test scores. We going to see. We going to see, because this is the reality that we're in, and all we can do is just sit back and watch it. Like I say, Trump, there's some things that I'm like, okay, I'm with you. I see what you're doing. But then there's those things to where I'm like, okay, what the hell are we doing now? And I understand the Department of Education, our schools, yes, they've been piss poor for a long time. But I don't feel like the answer is to take money away. I actually feel like the answer is to put more money into it. To put more money into it and pour into the teachers. Don't look at them as just baby daycare workers, because they damn near hell probably ain't making too much money than the damn daycare workers. It's like, show appreciation to your teachers. Like, that's the answer. Teachers underpaid, like, greatly. NYC girl said he worried about the wrong things. Focus on homelessness and hunger. That's a start. You said the teachers are underpaid. Yeah, they underpaid. I'm sure the teachers took plenty of polls. Taking plenty of polls to talk about what their struggles are, what could be better. I'm sure every school system, every district where they have, each year where they poll the teachers and see, okay, but how are you feeling? What do you think could be better? I'm sure every time there's a poll taken, it's centered. There's money. There's a large number where there's people are saying they don't feel like they're being paid enough. Like, that's the thing. That's not even something that's debatable. No matter what color, who you subscribe to. I ain't never seen it debated on whether or not a teacher is paid enough or not. That's never the topic. What I am hearing the topic is centered around, well, our school system, it sucks. The teachers don't care. It's like they don't even want to talk about the money part. Player, you get what you pay for. You don't want to pay the teachers, then okay, well, they gonna give you half-ass because they're tired. They're exhausted. Dr. J said, God bless America. I say it every day. NYC girl says, I'm so glad my daughter changed her major from teaching to child psychologist. I'm glad too. I'm glad too. Like I said, teaching, that's more of like a backup plan. Maybe, I think if anybody want to explore teaching, do it on a collegiate level. do it later in life, when you like, oh, okay, I'm tired. I don't want to, operate my practice no more. I'll go into like a university and teach, be a professor, or I'll be, a teacher to one of the online school programs. Because I believe to teach, I think online to teach, you can do that with a master's degree. So I'll be able to, because I got 2 of those, so I'll be good with if I did that. I don't want to teach though, but from a credential standpoint, I believe if online, you can, if you got at least a master's, you can do that. But I think like going into like university, like on the brick and mortar campuses, I think a lot of times they may want you to have your doctorate, but you at least need a master's. But to me, like I said, teaching is more so like later down the line when you done kind of made your money and it's just something to do. And it's just like, oh, I'll go teach. Because people know that ain't where the money is. So it's more so like, just something to do, that you're like, okay, it's light work. It's light work. But for somebody to aspire to want to be a teacher, I don't know who's running around doing that. And I think as a responsible parent, I think it's important for us to um, to be honest with our children and to talk about the earning potentials of certain fields or the struggles or the things that's going to come along with it, so therefore they can make the most informed decision. Show them, okay, well baby, this what the money looking like in that field. And okay, so with that being said, let's talk about if you want to buy you a house or a car, then I don't know, it might kind of be hard for you to do those things. You may have to have some roommates or things, like 2, 3, 4, 5 roommates. But like you got to really be honest, because it's beyond people just wanting to do something because, ooh, I just love teaching. Okay, that's fine. But you got to think about also how are you going to live? How are you going to pay your bills? And sometimes that thing what we're passionate about doesn't pay the bills. And it don't mean you can't do it. What it means is that you got to work a job that do pay the bills and do that thing that you're driven by, where you're passionate in. As Dr. J say, a side hustle, do it on the side. You like to teach? I pretty much teach. I do this YouTube. Like my back, so NYC girl, I have a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. My path was to be a therapist. I want to be a family therapist. So much like what you saying your baby girl wants to do. I no longer want to do it in that capacity. I choose to do it on the internet through content creation, to just talk my talk. This is, so I still do it. So what I'm saying is that sometimes you got to do other things where the money is, and then that other thing that you're passionate about, you do it in another type of capacity, so in a way that's not dependent on whether or not you got food on your table. See, I switched gears and I no longer wanted to operate in a way and do therapy and counsel to where I had to rely on making money from it to put food on the table, because it can be a lot. It can be heavy taking on people's problems. So I said, you know what? I don't want to do it in that capacity. I'd rather do it in a different type of way where my livelihood isn't dependent on it. Where if I say, oh, I want to step in and help somebody, I can do it. And it's not centered around me booking you for X amount of hours because I talked to you about something. I don't want to do that anymore. I'd rather come on here, do it on YouTube, make money that way. Like, I'd rather do it this way, but I'm still teaching and doing all that I would do if you were to pay me X amount of dollars per hour to like come and talk to me. So it's just a mindset where how you view things. But the ultimate goal is you got to be able to survive. You got to be able to eat. And if you're trying to be a teacher, you're going to be hungry. More of the story is you're going to be hungry, especially if you're single and you don't have help. If you're single and you don't have help, it's going to be a struggle. It is what it is. NYC girl said, yep, teachers are really struggling teaching in the day and door dashing at night. Yes, I remember years ago, my sister, her kids teacher, she would teach during the day and she worked Wendy's. She would teach during the day and she would do like nanny work, like watch the students, like, so the parents of the students was at a private school. She worked at a private school. They would hire her to watch their children outside of school hours. That became not enough eventually, because remember, those kids, they start to get older and they don't need you to watch them like that anymore. They're now old enough to stay at home by themselves. They're growing up. She then had to replace the nanny gig with Wendy's. The last I knew, she still works there. She still teaches and works at the Wendy's. And that's been a good 10 years. And she's a teacher. Make it make sense. There's no way that an educator, and she was a very good teacher, I've even, at the time when my kids were younger, I've hired her where she'd watch my kids. There's no reason why someone like that should have to have a side hustle to be able to make ends meet. And y'all, I'm talking 10 years ago when times economy was better then than it is now. So imagine now how the struggle for people. If that was a struggle at least 10 years ago or more, probably longer than 10 years ago. So basically the moral of the story is teachers are still underpaid. I don't recall this not being a conversation piece about teachers being underpaid. It's something that I've just always known. Dr. J said a lot of teachers are having to pick up side hustles. Yes, a lot of teachers and even just people who just got just a job period, they're having to pick up side hustles. Content creation is a side hustle. There are a lot of people who are content creators who do other things and then content creation, and they work hard to get their content, their social media accounts to be monetized. And then some of them eventually let go of that primary job and do the content creation 100%. I don't desire to do that. I like it's just been something I have on the side. But in all, I know that it's just something in addition that I have going on, which which can help. You know what I'm saying? So it's beyond teachers needing. This is just the times we live in where one is not enough. One job is not enough. And then for people who got the two income households, they're trying to get at least three streams of income going on, where one of the adults in the house, whether it's the wife or the husband, is trying to pick up something else to help with bringing in income into the home. These are the times we're living in, because why? The cost of living is going up, and the amount of pay, that the money that people are making, it is not climbing at the rate that the cost of the income, the cost of the economy is. So the economy, the cost of living is going up, and then the salaries, the money we make is just slowly trickling. Like it, at the rate that we're going, it'll never catch up where you close the gap. It's just going to always be a gap. So the side hustle helps to fill in the gap, but that gap is there. The gap is just getting wider and wider. It is what it is. And when you know what's going on, it helps you to try to plan and prepare. Like, okay, this is what I'm up against. So I have to figure out a way to combat that. Okay, what can I do to make up for this gap? Because I see this gap is going to stay here, and the gap is going to become wider and wider. I need something to close in the gap. That side hustle for many families or many people, it just helps to close the gap. It don't even close the gap in all the way. It just helps. People got multiple jobs and still feel like they're struggling. It just helps, but they still don't feel like they good. They don't feel like they good. They can exhale a little bit, but they don't feel like they're getting anywhere. They don't feel like they're growing. They feel like it's just allowing for them to just stay afloat. How many of you all just are staying afloat? You have memories of those days when, and some of us, if you're fortunate enough, there was a time in your life where it wasn't about just staying afloat, where you felt like you was just living and you was good. Whereas now, today, you like, damn, I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to stay afloat. That is so many people's story. I was listening today before I, went live with you all. Another content creator talking about all the vehicles that are being repossessed. This one lady said her the loan for her vehicle was like almost $1,000. And she's like 2 months behind. She can't afford to pay it. Another lady said, oh, well, I'm 7 months behind on my vehicle. It got repossessed. So she calling the damn man who got her vehicle, who was going to sell it at the auction, trying to ask him if she can buy it back from him. He said, oh, well, why did it get repossessed? I'm assuming you fell behind on your payments. Well, yeah, I fell behind a few payments. It was like 7 months. He said, okay. She was like, yeah, I was living in Miami. Yeah, it's expensive out there, but I've since moved from Miami, and I'm in Atlanta at my mama's house. So, yeah, so I want to try to buy the car back. He like, oh, okay, so you got a job? No, I ain't got no job. I'm looking, but I got a check that I got from the insurance company from an accident I had. So I plan to put that towards the car and then eventually be able to start making the payment. He said, well, what's your credit score? Well, it was a 560, but it's a 590 now. This is shit I'm talking about, y'all. I am not making this up. Like, this is what's going on. So this young lady is like trying her best to get, and it's a Mercedes-Benz vehicle. So she's trying her best to get this vehicle back in her possession, even though she still is unemployed. So guess what? She gonna find herself back in that circle and not being able to pay the car note. But she's working to try to just get it back. Because she like, well, hell, I'll worry about trying to pay it later. I just need to get it back. I'm sure that man eventually hung up the phone on her because he had recorded the conversation. But he started laughing. He was like, well, I don't mean to laugh, but this sound crazy. You say you ain't got no job, but you trying to get you want to buy the vehicle back from me, and you gonna try to use your little check that you got from an insurance. Like, listen, Linda, listen. People out here, listen, doing stuff that don't make no sense. So we already got a bad economy, and then you got people doing stupid stuff like this. Bad comedy and doing stupid stuff with your money just don't add up. That's just we are not in the times to be being stupid. Like we literally cannot afford it. That man straight laughed. That man straight laughed when she said, well, no, I'm at my mama house. I ain't got no job yet, but I put in applications. I've been hearing about how so many people have been putting in applications and they're not hearing back from people. So they're wondering if these companies are really hiring, or are they low key just putting the shit out there because the government or somebody told them to just put out there for hiring signs just to make the economy appear to be doing better than what it is. Y'all let me know. I'm just saying that is a thing. How is it that our economy is what it is, but though you're seeing for hiring? Like, I was at I was at a restaurant where I was at Dairy Queen like a week or so ago with my son, my teenage son. On the door, hiring. Drive-through sign, hiring. I'm at the daggone cash register. I said, oh, can you tell me more about this? Yeah, I see you're hiring. She can be like, oh, no, we're not hiring. We're staffed up. I said, well, hell, I'm just going off of the damn sign you got at the damn door. You see what I'm talking about? Now, I don't goddamn know if it was I was racially profiled, because y'all know what them goddamn Dairy Queens, they usually be Indians. I don't know. And she said, oh, shoot, nah, we good. We don't want your kind. But she straight up told me, no, we ain't hiring. We got plenty. I'm like, you don't know that right there when I came in the door, you had a whole sign that says hiring. And then when I left you all the restaurant and drove out the parking lot, I saw a second sign at the damn drive-through window. But you telling me, oh, no, we're good. That's the shit I'm talking about. So I can believe it, where a lot of people are saying they are putting in applications and applying for these places that are advertising that they're hiring, and they're not getting a callback, an email, or anything. They're just being ghosted. Yvonne says, I heard someone say they put in 600 applications last month and didn't receive not one response. I can believe it, because I have a LinkedIn account. So when I'm on LinkedIn, I'll see people in LinkedIn just talking about their experience. That's how I actually came to know at the beginning of the year how bad the job market was, because I was just out there and I was just updating my LinkedIn and trying to, fill the market out. And I seen a lot of people talking about how they have been having worked in like several months, a year or more, applied for X amount of jobs, and they just felt really frustrated and just depleted, because the job market is bad, and the reason, and I contribute that, is to where they're competing against a lot of people. So it's so bad to where even if you are a standout employee, when you got thousands of people applying for the same position, hundreds, probably thousands for some positions, 600 plus, it's like a needle in a haystack with someone coming across yours and even reaching out to you for an interview. Like, there were so many people who said that they hadn't even gotten an interview, and they put in maybe like 1,000 applications, and they still never even got an interview, or maybe got one or two, just some ridiculously low number. That lets you know that the market is bad. So that told me, like, wow, this is before all these, these government layoffs. I already knew how it was. So when I seen that the government was laying off all these people, I said to myself, I hope that these people who have recently found themselves without work will not kick their heels up. I'm talking about the people who got the deal where they did the resignation and they are paid through September. I said, I hope that these people will not kick their heels up like me. You can't be doing this. This job market is so bad. Let me see. Hey, can you hear me now? I think I'm back. I think I'm back. Usually I gotta end the whole damn live. Can y'all hear me now? Yes, okay. So thank you. Hey, Ivan, what's up? I was talking about the Department of Education and just the impact that it's going to have on the state level with the removal of the federal funding. I do not feel like it is going to be a good look. I think that the children are ultimately going to be heavily impacted. Ivan said, I was so happy to see Trump dismantle the DOE. So, Ivan, question, what are your thoughts? How do you think it will impact the schools on the state level? Do you think it will have a positive impact or a negative impact on the state level when it comes to the quality of the schools? The children, getting what they need, them having adequate staffing. Ivan, you said it won't help. So what made you say you were happy about, or why are you happy about seeing it just gone? And you feeling like, hey, it's not going to help the schools, but I'm happy it's gone. I'm just trying to understand because I feel like really the answer to the situation pertaining to our poor education system is to pay the teachers more. I feel like they're underpaid and they're overworked and you get what you pay for. So, hey, what's up, Serena? I feel like you get what you paid for. So, right now, the school system is just piss poor because the teachers' salaries are piss poor. You can't pay a teacher still $45,000 to start in today's economy. That's crazy work. They need to be paid at least 60,000. Ivan, you said the cuts to DOE affects administration, not the educators. But no, here's the thing, Ivan. I've already been hearing on the internet teachers giving their testimony saying that they've already gotten their walking papers where they said that they were let go because the monies that was paying their salaries was monies that the school was getting from during the pandemic. So since those funds aren't being filtered down to those schools anymore, the schools don't have the money to pay all of the teachers anymore because that extra money that they was using to pay the teachers is no longer there. I heard a teacher do her testimony, and that's what she said. She was like, my salaries was being paid. She said she was a teacher. She said she was a teacher. So that's what I'm going off of. And I've heard that it's anticipated that there are going to be a lot of teachers let go. So I don't think that it's just going to be the administration that's going to let go. I think we're going to have to see it. I think come next school year, well, August here in Georgia, that's when the school year starts here, is when we'll, hear more about it or see it. Or, some of us who have children that are still in school, they'll come home and talk about the experience in the classrooms, the classroom sizes. Ivan said administrators are paid far more than the educators. Exactly. I can believe that. I can believe that. And that doesn't make sense to me. To me, I feel like they treat educators like they're daycare workers. I don't think that a daycare teacher should be paid the same as a teacher that's in a K through 12 school. I just don't. I think that I think both of them should make a good salary to at least be able to afford to live comfortably. But there's no reason why your child's elementary school teacher, middle school teacher, and high school teacher should have to, when their day ends, gotta go drive Uber or Lyft. That makes no sense to me. Because here's the thing, you have to have some form of education and things like that to be a teacher or a certificate. A lot of daycare workers, they don't have that. You don't need all that to be a daycare worker. So I understand to say, your daycare worker, their pay is what it is. But for a teacher who has the certification and the education or degrees, that makes no sense. Serena says, I know they're illegal because I asked the main office lady. So who are you talking about, Serena? Who? Maybe I missed it. Who's illegal? Serena, maybe I missed your comment. But I think it's going to impact more than just administrators. It's going to, yeah, it's not going to be just administrators. I don't think so, but we'll see. But some people, some educators are already talking on the internet, and you all can probably research it yourself. However, you do your research to see, have there been school teachers let go or impacted by the dismantle of the Department of Education? Ivan says, no, the cuts affect administration. Okay, we're going to see. We're going to see. So administration, what's that's going to be like at your, so that's the, let me see, you're going to, that's your, what, your front office workers, your secretaries, the counselors, the principals. So let's just say it affects, say, them, those, you say your counselors. Normally, like I know where my kids go to school, there's a counselor for like each grade level. That's a lot of kids that feed into one person. So if you do start to impact even the administrators, that can still have an impact on the experience of the students in the school system, because it's going to be more on that one person to have to show up for these kids. Like what I said, I use the example of like a school counselor. Serena, you said, I was saying that at my daughter's school, they give away free food every Friday to illegal families. Oh, wow. Well, I guess that ain't gonna pop off anymore. Or the school, the state gonna have to pay for it. But what state is that, Serena? What state you live in? Brolana, what's up, Brolana? Say, hey, Chic Chat. No, the cuts do not just affect with an A, the administration. I didn't think so. But I've been talking about, listen, what did he say? You know, the mainstream media loves to lie to your face. The teacher I seen speaking on her job loss wasn't in mainstream media. It was on, I saw the clip on YouTube, but it wasn't like from a mainstream media, because I don't watch the mainstream media. So it was just a clip that another content creator, I think, had shown, that where they were talking about just people being impacted by job losses, and she was sapping a teacher. And so, mind you, like, she lost her job before, like, when I heard her tell her testimony, that was like almost 2 weeks ago, where this woman was telling her testimony. So I don't know. Brolana said, just talk to the teachers. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know any teachers personally, to have a conversation with a teacher. Because like I said, I can't remember last time I heard somebody talking about they aspiring to be anybody daggone teacher. So I just was going off of just what I see. Okay, Serena, you say California. Okay. So, yeah, are you in what part of California? Are you Southern or Northern California? I'm from Northern California, the Bay Area. So, yeah, I mean, we gonna see. Dr. J says superintendents, assistant superintendents, SPED, or curriculum directors, principal, assistant principals, etc., are the administrators. Are they okay? So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Southern California. Okay, thank you for that. DJ says, I'm thinking everyone, hell, all educators will be affected. I think eventually all will. So I even like say if it's just administrators, that may be the case right now, but I think it's going to be a domino. You know how sometimes there's a domino effect to things? I can see it being like a domino effect to where maybe it'll first impact a certain group, and then it's going to start with the lack of resources and things. It's going to trickle down and start impacting other groups. Do that make sense? You know how, it was initially, usually that's how a lot of stuff is. Well, I didn't mean to, burn your house down. I was only wanting to kind of set, those leaves on fire because it was killing my grass. And by default, it ended up setting the house on fire. You see what I'm saying? That happens a lot with things to where, what they say, you catch the stray, where you were not the intended person to be impacted, but you ended up being impacted. And we see that's going along with a lot of stuff just with these changes where the direct impact is impacted, but just other things that are affiliated or somehow connected to it are also being impacted. We can look at it like tariffs. Take the tariffs, for example. Okay, Canada, we want to charge you this tariff, 25%, but people like us are impacted by that, right? Even though Trump's intention wasn't to impact us, but by default, we're indirectly impacted by that. So I can see with this whole dismantle of the Department of Education, teachers, those who haven't been lost their jobs yet, eventually being indirectly impacted by that, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. Brolena says, yes, everybody going to catch it. Yes. Pretty much almost everything you all that we're seeing play out, it's going to impact. Just like I said with using the example of the tariffs. Everybody's going to catch it. We literally are all in this together. We're literally all in this together. Ivan said growing pains. It's either this or the country goes insolvent. This is due to Obama and Biden. I agree. I agree, Ivan. I have no pushback with that. I agree. The Biden administration, Obama administration really effed our economy up. And I do feel like Trump's doing things to try to make things better. But at the same time, I feel like when it comes to the Department of Education, I really think teachers need to be paid more. Whether or not you want to directly link that to the Department of Education or not, in all, teachers need to be paid more. Trump yesterday at his press conference at the White House, he talked about the poor school system. I've never heard anyone argue that our school system was like good or even, listen, ain't nobody finna argue that. But I feel like the answer to making it better is to pour into your educators. Give them more resources. Give them more money. They are underpaid. They're underpaid. You get what you pay for. Your mom says, Sheik, it's impacting this desegregation upset. Let me see. Sheik, it's impacting this desegregation upset. What do you mean by that? There's the whole, so here's the thing with have you all heard about the whole desegregation situation? Because I've been trying to take a deep dive and learn and try to understand what's going on with that. Brolena said, oh Lord, what? Yes. So what they're saying is that the Trump administration, they have updated their the desegregation now. Yes. So the Trump administration, what's been said is that the Trump administration has added a part, they've revised or what can I say? Their government agency contracts that they've rewritten them to say, hey, if you're going to do business with us, you need to remove any verbiage in your contract that says that you will not desegregate. So basically what he's saying is that, hey, if you're going to do business with a government agency, you have to agree to not desegregate. Basically, you have to be open to segregating. So you got to be open to it. You can't be like, no, we don't desegregate. They're like, no, you have to desegregate. Otherwise, you're in breach of this contract. I saw yesterday, I think, Caroline, when she was speaking before Trump had went on, a reporter asked her, Caroline, what's the deal with the desegregation? She said, well, where'd you hear that from? Like an agency or something? And they said where they heard it from. She basically was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that didn't come from the Trump administration. I don't know what you're talking about. So I have yet to hear anyone in the Trump administration speak on this whole desegregation thing. But it's all across the news outlets that he's wanting to remove, like he's added in the government agency contracts, a blurb that says you must remove the desegregation clause in your contract. Like if your business operates from a place of we don't allow discrimination for sex, gender, creed, whatever. They're like, you got to remove that. Our contract is saying like you can't have that verbiage, meaning that they wanted the contract to be available to allow for desegregation if you so choose. So it's crazy because that goes against an existing desegregation, law, whatever that's on the books that says, hey, you cannot discriminate for sex, age. Y'all know all of that. So it kind of contradicts it, but they have it in their contract. So it's like, well, if you're going to do business with us, you have to adhere to our contract. And our contract says we don't want that verbiage in our contracts. We want to basically be able to have the ability to basically do what we want. So if we say, okay, people from the LGBT community, we don't want you over here doing this, that, and the third, then according to this contract, you cannot be over here. So that is what I've come to understand of what the hell going on. But Caroline said, I don't know what the hell you talking about because y'all ain't heard it from us. So, but everybody and their mama talking about it. Ivan says, teach your children to make better decisions so they don't have to go through this or put their children through it. Berlina says, this has to be a joke. Yeah, I read it now. Look into it, girl. Look into it. Yvonne says, every area of life catching a stray right now. Berlina says, so basically, if you want to be all white Anglo-Saxon males in a company, you can do that now. Yes. So if you're wanting to do business, so what happens is that, say, Brolena, using you as an example, you have a business, you say you have a restaurant, and you want to get a contract with a government agency, and they'll draw up this contract and they'll say, okay, right here in this contract, it says that you cannot operate from the stance of we are we don't allow desegregation here. Their contract is going to say, no, we don't subscribe to that. We're looking basically for you to be able to desegregate or say, hey, black man, you go over here. Gay man, gay woman, you go over there. Like, they're looking for you to have your business operating in a way that allows that. And if your business does not allow that, then they have the ability to be like, hey, you're a breaching contract. Or if they see your business isn't going to allow that, they're not going to even grant you the government contract, because they're going to be like, well, your business or how you operate isn't in compliance with how we move. Because y'all know you got to, these people with a lot of these contracts, these government contracts, you submit a bid. So when you're submitting a bid, you're submitting your documents and things talking about, okay, how you run your country and things like your company. So they're looking at it and seeing, what your T's and C's are, and to see if it lines up with how they move. And if your stuff don't line up with theirs, and your stuff talking about we don't allow discrimination, we don't this or that, they gonna pass right over you. Because guess what? Their contracts say, hey, like we reserve the right to discriminate if we want to. And if you don't like it, you're like, we're not going to get into a contract with you. So it's up to you. Either you're going to revise your wording in your contract with how your business operates. You're going to revise that to line it up with what ours say, or you're just going to just not get the business. Like, life's about choices. And that's what they're saying. But remember, Caroline is saying, I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all ain't heard this from this administration. So basically, I can't co-sign. I don't know what you're talking about. That is what she said yesterday. It's like, okay. But I'm still seeing it on all different news outlets, whether it's mainstream, just content creators. So it is a thing. The White House, the government, they just haven't spoke on it. Why do you think that is? They have not spoken on it. Yvonne says, yes, if your company or business receiving government funding, you got to apply by their rules if you want their money. Ivan says, federal law still says EOE, no need for it in contracts. It's redundant. I get that, but listen, Linda, listen. But here's the thing. Why isn't the government the government, why aren't they speaking to it? Because remember I said, Caroline said, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, y'all didn't hear that from us. Like, the reporter said where he heard it from. And she was like, oh, okay, well, I don't know. I can't speak. I don't know what that is. I don't know nothing about that. That was her response. And from what you're saying, Ivan, the whole redundant thing today, I think it was either today or yesterday when I was listening to someone talk, they did mention that. Oh, it's because it's redundant or whatever. Okay. But I'm looking for the administration, the Trump administration, to clarify that, because it has a lot of people out here having conversations centered around, does he want to segregate the people? What is this about? What are we doing? Are y'all familiar with also, and I haven't seen anybody bring this question yet to the Trump administration or Caroline speak on it. Are you all familiar with the changes that are being put into made within the Marines, the U.S. Marines? So here's the thing with that. So the U.S. Marines, the men, I guess right now, like normally they're required to shave every day. I guess they have to be like clean face. Every man can't do that because they'll get like, especially like I guess with men of color predominantly, it seems like there's this skin condition. I can't remember what it is, but there's a skin condition where like men that like shave, use razors a lot, it'll cause for them to have ingrown hairs. And the reason why that happens is because just with black people, like our hair is coily. It's not straight like the other groups of people. So when our hair grows out, it's curly. So when you're using razors a lot, and these men are using razors, they're getting these ingrown hairs from the curls getting caught underneath the skin, and it's painful. So they've been able up until now, been able to have a waiver on file that says that they don't have to shave. So now Trump is saying, okay, hey, well, let's revisit this, because if you're in the Marines, I'm gonna need for you to shave. And if you're unable to shave, I'm gonna need for you to be working for the next 90 days with this what do you call this? The dermatologist, to try to get your skin situation together. And if you cannot get it together within 90 days, then the Marines is just not for you. This is just not where you need to be. So what he's saying is that for those who just have an issue with their skin, not their ability to fight and represent their country, but because they can't shave every day, he's saying, okay, you're no longer needed. We no longer have need for you here in the U.S. Marines. That's what's going on. I also learned that of the people who have waivers on file for not shaving, 66% of those people are black men. You have other groups of people who are also have waivers that are on file, because apparently the U.S. Marines is about 15 to 16% black men. Of those black men, 66% of them got a waiver. So you got a good about 5 of them that can shave every day with no damn problem. And them 5 probably biracial. So they white roots, allow for their hair to kind of grow a little straighter. But the black man, they're the ones who are making up. They're the 66% of the waivers. And then the article also talked about that people who have those waivers on file, they get promoted at a slower rate than those who don't have such waiver on file. So what's the purpose of putting this in place? What does someone's skin has to do with their ability to do their job? If they've been in the military for X amount of years and they've been doing their job, but you want to now have them removed because from an aesthetic, they can't have clean face because of a condition. So you're saying the Marines just isn't for you? First of all, we all know it's not even easy to get into the Marines. That's like the best of the best. Y'all seen Jarhead, G.I. Jane? Tony, was that David Goggins? Y'all familiar with David Goggins? He's a former Marine SEAL. Like, it's hard. So to think that someone worked so hard to be a part of the Marines, and likely that was probably like their dream, because that ain't something your average person waking up every day and saying, I'm picking that branch. So to think that you done worked hard and you done got in it, and then you have someone to come along and say, because you can't shave because of the condition you have, then you can't be in the Marines. That's crazy work. But this is the type of stuff that's going on right now. And like I said, I haven't heard the Trump administration be posed this question or speak on it. So, but it is a thing, it is something that's out there. It is out there. Serena says, razor burn, my husband gets that. It can get really bad. Yeah, Yvonne says there is a lawyer out here as well explaining it. Okay. I listened to a lawyer talk about the desegregation, the impact of that. I'm not quite sure if it was a lawyer I listened to, that it was a former, I think he was a Marine SEAL who, a Marine, former Marine, I think, who I listened to talk about. And actually, he was a white guy. And he was like, what the hell is this? And he was already saying that already, I guess, on the websites and stuff, pictures of non-white men was already starting to be like removed from the websites. Yeah, he say it's almost like they're wanting to make the Marines like, make the face of the Marines a white man, the white man. So yeah, it's a lot going on. You mind? You say, yes, Sheik, you can find this on the marine.com website. Okay. Um, Serena says, I get keeping yourself clean and trim, but mandatory shave face is just too much in my opinion. I agree. Dr. J says, act of discrimination. They shouldn't be promoted slower. Yes, the article says those people are promoted slower. They was like, anyone who has a waiver are promoted slower. So there's Asians who have waivers. There's Hispanic, there's different people, from different cultural groups, who have waivers, but most of the waivers are black men. And they collectively, anybody who got a waiver, they're promoted at slower rates. Yeah, Marlena says it's not a condition. It's literally just having curly, thicker hair. Yeah, but they got a condition now for it. They got something on record that they was calling it, where I don't know it. Yeah, they got a name for it. I'm not quite sure of it, but in the article, uh, there was a name that they called it. They associated with the condition. So yeah, you know how folks gonna slap a name on anything. Ivan says, I personally don't care. Life's not fair. Jobs have grooming and dress codes. Shave or shut the hell up or ship out. But here's the thing. Up until now, how long has the Marines been a thing and people have been able to have a waiver? Like, why now suddenly someone growing facial hair is now being in question as far as them being able to do their job? Ivan says, go see a dermatologist there. Yes, so that's why in the article it talks about they got a certain period of time to, work with the dermatologist to do whatever to try to get it taken care of. And if you still can't get it taken care of to where you feel like, okay, you're able to shave or whatever, then you got to go. Berlana says, it all starts with the wording. So condition sounds like the beginning of something to me. Yeah. Yep. So look into that. Just, Google, the new parameters centered around Marines having to shave or be discharged from the military. It'll come up. But yeah, I do remember they put a name on it. They put a name on it. It wasn't a name I'd ever heard of. Berlana said, a dermatologist is expensive. A dermatologist for not being white is wild. Serena says, being in the Marines Army is not just any job. It's about protecting America. The enemy don't care if you're clean shaved. Listen, like to me, it didn't make sense because if somebody just from to me, I look at it as where like someone's being punished because of their makeup, their ethnicity. Like should somebody be discriminated because they're black and they grow curly hair and it gets ingrown hairs and it causes for them to have pain in their face? Like, how many of you, just period, any of you have had a ingrown hair and it just hurts? No matter wherever you shave on your body, where you shaved and hair's growing back, and then there's a part on your body where it's painful because of the way that hair is growing in. So I don't think that we should just dismiss somebody being in pain because of that happening if that's something that's constantly reoccurring. That's crazy. Most people in the regular everyday today don't shave every day. I didn't even know Marines were shaving every day. So I learned this in the article that, they pretty much, shave every day. So that was like, oh, wow, that does seem a bit much. So I can only imagine. I just know with just me and the length of times, that I may shave, like how my body can react to it. And that's not even every day. So I can imagine how the skin can get irritated by you doing that. And that has no bearing on you being able to do your job. Ivan, when it says it's mostly, Yvonne says it's mostly common in black man's DNA. Ivan says, wow, I don't want to shave. That's a Democrat talk. Berlana says that Yvonne facts. Ivan says, tell them to make sure the women shave too. Yeah, you got some women out here that look strong in the face and they got the hair. The article didn't talk about any women. What you talking about, Alvin? Like, we need to be equal opportunists over here. If we got damn shave, Brenda got a shave too. Oh my God. So the article, like, it didn't talk about women in it. It strictly talked about men. But listen, um, I would think that hell, if there is a woman in the Marines and she got her little situation on her face, that they'll pull her to the side too and have a conversation and put her on the doggone 90-day dermatologist plan. But like, this is what's going on. It's so much going on to where it's like I try to kind of keep up, like, okay, what the hell going on, to try to get an understanding, to come out here to have a conversation with y'all, because it's a lot. I'm like, what? Merlina says, no, they'll find something else for the woman. Don't worry. He said they're going to find something else. Listen, and y'all know we going to hear about it. Y'all know it's going to make the media whenever they do find it. It's a lot. Y'all, did y'all see? So yesterday, Trump, was it? Yesterday, I think Trump was supposed to get back to the judge. Remember, y'all, he still let, them flights still drop them people off over in El Salvador over the weekend. And the judge and the Democrats got pissed off that Trump dropped them damn people off when that judge said no, abort mission, turn around. And basically Trump was like, the hell you say, we still carrying on. So I think yesterday by 12 o'clock, Trump was supposed to report to the judge with a report answering some questions. So the judge wanted to know how many people was on the flights, how many flights were there, what time did the flights leave, what time did they land. The judge, like, listen, goddamn, I need answers because you out here doing what you want to do. So first of all, they're saying that the Trump administration did not meet the deadline, of, I think it was supposed to be like 12 o'clock. So they already didn't meet that. When they did finally turn in a little report, it wasn't it wasn't hitting on nothing. It wasn't answering the questions that the judge had. The judge just thought it was just a waste of time or whatever. So, of course, the judge just got in his feelings. Not sure what's supposed to happen now since Trump, them, per usual, did what the hell they want to do, pissed the damn judge off, because it's just like, damn it, listen, we ain't telling you all of that, because I think the judge also wants to know, like, the names of who all was on the flight. And they're like, no, we're not telling you that. Now, apparently a list has been released of the names on the flights. I'm not quite sure yet how this list got released, but there was a woman I saw speaking on the fact that her baby daddy, he never came back home from work. I think he was cutting hair and his ass didn't came back home. And she was wondering where the hell he was at, and was he possibly in El Salvador? And somehow she came across the damn list, and sure enough, her man, her baby daddy, I think she said her husband, his name was on the list. She said he ain't never been affiliated with no gang here, or I think he from Guatemala, or even in Guatemala. And now he done damn got sent to goddamn El Salvador, got his goddamn hair, all his damn hair shaved off. He chained up, bent all over. Y'all know what they be looking like in El Salvador. That's his situation right now. And she's saying, he's innocent. He's innocent. He didn't do nothing. That ain't how he move. So people now, what's been said in the media is that, what people are putting out there is that there are people who are believed to be innocent who are over in El Salvador locked up, y'all. Like, this is what's now being put out there. I think there was another lady who seen her man name too on the list. So people are like, listen, like, my love, and they ain't. Oh yeah, there's another guy. It was another lady. Her man, his name was on the list. She showed a picture, y'all, of a tattoo on his arm, and she said that the government, you know, Trump and them said, yeah, he is affiliated with the gang. Look at that tattoo on his arm. She was like, that ain't no gang tattoo. That's a soccer ball because her man, her husband or whatever, he was a soccer player. She was like, that he ain't a part of no gang. That's a soccer ball with a crown on top of it from when they won the championship. And I ain't gonna lie, when I seen a picture it do, from what I could see, you can see the, you know, a soccer ball, and it looks like it had like a crown sitting on top of it. So what she's saying, it makes sense to that. But listen, Trump administration's that is gang activity. That is he a part of the gang. He the damn leader. He the leader. He the leader. That tattoo, that's a leader tattoo. He is the leader. So you got all these stories of people are like, like no, no. My man, no, he ain't about that life. Y'all got the wrong. Y'all messed up. Y'all messed up. So that's what's going on. Let me get into the comment. Ivan says, judge wants trans to be in army. Ruled anyone can join. So technically, paraplegic can join. So I saw recently that the judge had did a ruling, but I didn't ever get around to getting into the details of it because I was so busy with learning what exactly did the judge rule on. So I knew that Trump at one point was saying that he didn't want people from the community or trans people being in the military. So my initial thought was, okay, I wonder if the judge ruled and said no, you know, gays, anybody, you know, can be in the military. So Ivan, you're saying even the damn paraplegics can join. So judge said, listen, everybody can go to the army and be all they can be. Okay. Berlina says anyone who can pass the physical and intellectual requirements should indeed be able to join. So I believe in that. What do you guys think? I remember hearing years ago that if you're in the military, how the government would pay for you to have, and y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this, that the government will pay for you to have your the surgeries and stuff. So if you are, you know, if you want to go through the whole situation with transitioning and things like that, the government will pay for that. Have you all heard of that? I remember years ago hearing of that. So I believe that's still a thing. But the government is like, you know, we'll pay for that if you want to transition, whatever. And I would imagine that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So if the government's paying for that, is that the same thing as taxpayer money paying for that? Because if government is paying for something, to me, that's me, you, whoever, everyone on this life. That if you're American, you pay tax. That means you're paying for that as well. Are you here for paying for someone to transition? That's the question. Berlina says, right, all those men are being placed in that terrorist prison without proof of ever engaging in a terrorist act. I remember, so when I was hearing, and I heard that Trump had put them guys on the plane, their administration, they were saying they did their due diligence. And you know, and I just trusted that they did, you know, they did that the ICE, they did their proper vetting, you know, because yes, you don't want, that's just not something I've wished on anybody. So it's not even a race thing, a political party thing. I just don't wish that on anybody. So if someone is in some type of situation, a prison situation, and they don't deserve to be there, they're innocent, I don't believe they should be there. So when I initially heard that, you know, those people were sent over there, and I was going off of, you know, that administration said, hey, we did our due diligence. We did our proper research. These people are bad people, period. But here's the thing. Tell me, why do you all think that the Trump administration don't want to release the list of names? What do y'all think that's about? Because y'all normally here in the U.S., when somebody locked up and all that, like that's public information. You can like go on the internet. You might have to kind of pay a fee to get access to like someone's like criminal report or stuff. But it's kind of basic to where you can kind of go in if you know the person's name, date of birth. Like usually like you can Google like their mugshot. Like it's not like a secret. Why do you all think it's a secret for the administration to not want to release the names of those people who got sent over there? Let's talk about it. These are just questions. Ivan says, Sheik, who gonna come out and say my man is gang? You know these people gonna lie. You know, I mean, Ivan, listen. She said, listen, my baby cut hair. Shit. He go to work, he cut hair, and he bring his ass home. He ain't been home lately. He gone. I'm looking for him. My baby waking up every day saying, where is daddy? So I get what you're saying, Ivan. I get what you're saying. But I think that If there was investigation and it was concluded that, hey, from our investigation, it was determined that these people are part of gang affiliates, even if that detail isn't released to me or you, I feel like that information should be on record in a system to where people who have access to just the systems that they have access, the police, the judges, or whatever, they should be able to see it. For example, Ivan, likely you, me, or whoever, if we go before a judge and they get our name, social, they're going to be able to pull up everything about us if we have a record, right? They'll be able to just see everything and we speak to it. So in this situation, why isn't the information pertaining to the research that was conducted for these people, why is that so secretive? Why can't that be shared to say, hey, here's my receipts. This is why I put this person on this plane and shipped them out. It's that for me, because that backs what you're doing, right? That shuts people down. Be like, okay, yeah, this person's in jail. Here, I got him on camera, goddamn, knocking the hell out of somebody. You see what I'm saying? Here in America, like, we operate off of receipts. You can't just throw somebody in jail. So even though these people now, here's my thing. If these people were just getting shipped out of here because they just broke the law from just coming over here, being in our country, and they were just getting shipped someplace, and it not being about them going to jail, but they're just, hey, you just going back home. That's one thing. I think it's a different conversation when you're saying you're shipping someone out because they're a criminal. You have to support that. That's just basic. Like, you got to support that. You have to provide a receipt that, hey, this person is a criminal. Because I like to believe that Trump, when he made the decision to say to ship these people off, it was because they're criminals. But there's some type of paper trail, sir, that they have to have, that I'm sure they have. Why aren't you showing this? To me, it would help to shut people up to if you showed this. That's all I'm saying. Brolana says, there go that racial profiling. A soccer tattoo turns into a gang tattoo. That's what she said. And I saw the picture. I can tell my daughter's a soccer player. I know what a soccer ball looks like. It's a soccer ball and it had a crown over it. She said they called that a gang tattoo, and that's what they use to justify his, gang affiliation. So that's why I'm speaking like this, to say, well, damn, maybe, just maybe, not everyone. I'm not going to say the vast majority of them that was on that plane don't deserve to be over there. But y'all, even if it's one or two people, I don't think anybody, and that's even here in America, should do a day in jail if they innocent. I don't wish that on Ivan, Brolana, Yvonne, Dr. J. I don't wish that on anybody. I don't wish that on anybody. I'm just saying, if you're saying these people did this, that, and the third, just show your receipts and then we can move on with life. That's all I'm saying, y'all. Listen, y'all know I'm a damn equal opportunist over here now. Right? Ivan says, but if he got deported, it would mean that he was at least there illegally. Yes, but there's a difference of being deported and going into a jail. How many times have we seen in the media where people are deported, but they just getting taken back home? Everyone's not going to jail. If you notice, a lot of the people who are being deported, I think they said they just sent a batch of them back to Venezuela. I think they did that maybe like a day ago. So everyone, they didn't send them to jail. They just sent them back. I've literally seen videos of people just being sent back home, and they just walking off the plane just like they ain't got a care in the world. Like, oh shit, I'm back home, because they didn't go to jail. I think the ones that should go to jail are the ones who were over here and they were doing criminal activity, that it was beyond them just illegally coming over here. That's what I'm saying. Be fair. The ones who went to jail, Trump is saying they were gang affiliates. Okay, well, I think it's fair to show receipts of that, because that's a strong allegation. And if people are saying, hey, my loved one was not affiliated with a gang, I think that deserves to be explored, because that's just not something you'd want to happen to you or any of your loved ones. That's just basic fair treatment. So I'm not mad at that. If someone's saying, hey, can you show me how my loved one was guilty? Can you at least do that? Hell, can you just show me the list to see if my loved one's on there? Because I ain't even seen them. They never came back home. So you got a lot of people who are just, their loved ones just went missing and they don't know. And then somehow this list started circulating. And then they're going through the list, like this, the PPP loan list. They going through the list, and now, and they like, oh shit, there he is. Oh my. That's crazy work. That's a hell of a way to learn that your loved one locked up because they didn't come home. And then you so happen to come across this list and you see your loved one's name on there. And you ain't seen nan receipt to support that they were a part of whatever criminal activity, because the criminal activity is you coming over here and you're acting and you're doing stuff. It's beyond you just coming over here illegally. I feel like the criminal activities should be backed with receipts. Even if the receipt is someone verbally saying, hey, this person violated me, knocked me over the head. That is something. That is a testimony. That's someone on record saying this person did. But to just go, I don't know. I'm just looking for something. I think it would be a better look for the administration if they say, hey, this is how we supported this. Y'all might feel like that ain't enough evidence, but this is what we went off of. That's at least giving the people damn something, hell. Brolana says, right, Ivan, but get deported back home, not to that terrorist prison with no human rights. Right, there's a difference. Dr. J says, yes, it will be tax money. Dr. J said, no, ma'am, I don't think it's my responsibility to fund one's sex change. Absolutely not. Well, that, from what I was hearing years ago in the military, that is what was happening. I hadn't heard that it changed. So I'm not in support of that. I feel like if that's something you want to do, that got to come out of your own money. You know, get you an FSA account and put money out your check and have it go to your little special account like people in corporate have, where you can pay for those type of things. But for it to be free on the government dime, like for you to have a sex change, I personally don't think that's fair. That's a personal choice. I don't think it's fair for just everyone to have to pay for something that's a personal choice of somebody. Like, you need to handle that. That's like me saying, oh, I want braces, but I'm looking for you to pay for it. No, I got to pay for that. That's cosmetic. That's just something I want to do. So I got to set money aside to pay for that. I shouldn't look for someone, my neighbors, the people in the community to pay for that. That does not benefit them. That has no bearing on them. This stuff is just basic common sense stuff. Ivan says, how you know he ain't have gang charges in home country? The story, like, that's what I'm saying. So the receipts, these are the receipts. Which the question you're asking, this is only going to come about from a receipt. The Trump administration can back it up by saying, hey, we touch base with the country where they're from, and they said that he do this, that, and the third. I'm with you on that. But present that shit. Because the girl is saying, hey, my man didn't have no charge there or here. Like you said, Ivan, of course, she can easily say that, but receipts ain't gonna lie. Get the receipt. The receipt is the criminal record. The receipt is the U.S., the president reaching out to the country, whereas it's Venezuela. Hey, does this person have a record? And they be like, well, yeah, let me email you this. Bam. The administration got a receipt. So if someone come at them like, well, why you moving this way? This is what I got, and this is why. We had to get rid of him. Brolana says, because they aren't criminals. They may have been here illegally and should have been deported back to their home country, not that crazy prison system. I don't subscribe that just because someone is rounded up because they're here illegally, that when they leave, they should be put into prison. I believe they should very well be sent back home, but I don't think that they should be sent to prison. I think only people who are actually out here harming people, breaking laws beyond the law of being over here, breaking laws that's violating the rights of other people, I think those are the people who should be in the prison systems. Just like how it works here. I think that same logic should be applied for the legal immigrants. Send them back, period. And we've seen that happen. I've seen a number of videos where the people got sent back. Everybody ain't going to prison. Everybody's not going to prison. Most of the people aren't going to prison. Trump is saying these ones went to prison because they were affiliated with a gang. That's what he said. Okay, well, can you show the receipts of that? Because there are people saying, no, yes, my man, he shouldn't have. Actually, this woman who said that her man, she found his name on the list and he got sent over there. she's seen his name on the list. That's how she know that he's in El Salvador. She said he's here on the asylum. He came through that. So they were, what I was seeing in the comments, they were like, someone who's here through that isn't here illegally. Y'all can let me know what that means. But that's how I think he came like 3 years ago. She said he came through an asylum. I think that was the term she used. And people in the comments were saying asylum is not an illegal immigrant. I guess that's you coming through a program, a system. But that's how he was here, through the asylum. Yvonne says, yes, they need to provide this information. Yeah. Yvonne said, yes, it was a soccer ball. So you saw it. Ivan says, bro, Landon, you training for Victim Olympics. You understand that claiming that they committed an illegal act to be here, that act makes them criminal by definition. You sound like Jasmine Crockett. But here's the thing, Ivan, do you recognize that not everybody who's been sent back did not go to prison? What are your thoughts on that? How do you think it should be decided on when the people are put on a plane to be sent back home, if going back home should be a prison or if going back home should be you just getting dropped off? How do we distinguish that? Because they're doing both. Remember, we equal opportunists over here. So do you feel like, okay, let's just put everybody in prison when they go back? Because we can't cherry pick, okay, which one's going to prison versus which one are just sent back home. Because that is what's happening. And that's what we're speaking on. Both of those things are happening. Why are those two different things happening? It's not consistent. Why is that? Bro, Lena says, y'all, that's not even a jail. You get one sheet, no visitation, and a life sentence. Right. That's why I'm like, that ain't where you want to be. That's why I'm talking the way I'm talking, as far as I'm in support of receipts being shown, because that's just not a place that somebody who's innocent, they're just guilty for being in the U.S. undocumented. I don't think that warrants you having to go to that place. I think it warrants you having to go home, but I don't think it warrants you to have to go to prison. I think that's extreme. Ivan says maybe the charge with crime here. So again, Ivan, we don't goddamn know that unless they present it. That's why I'm asking for the receipts, because maybe there was a charge here. Because all we got is the wife saying he didn't have no charges here, or I think she said he from maybe Venezuela. There's no charges there. But like you said, she could say that easily. But you know who can clear that up? The person who got the person in jail, who should be expected to have receipts, right? So the Trump administration could easily clear that up by presenting a receipt saying, we hear what she trying to sell y'all, but she's selling y'all wolf tickets. Let me show y'all this rap sheet that her husband has. That is what we're talking about. What is the problem for them to not do that? I'm trying to understand. What's the problem? Why can't you show the receipt? It's given that you ain't got no goddamn receipts. Let's call a thing a thing. That's what it's giving. It's giving you ain't got no receipts. It's like, Ivan, you going into a store, you walking out, and somebody said, Ivan, you just stole that TV. No, I didn't. What the hell you talking about? Ivan, you mean you ain't finna pull out your fucking receipt to show them you just paid for that big ass TV? Hell yeah, that's the natural reaction that someone's going to do. They're going to pull out their receipts and be like, back the hell up off of me. Like, what else is there to do? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yvonne says that guy should have never been sent to CCOT, the worst prison in the world. Ivan said, I don't care what guy's girlfriend got to say. Ivan said most women can't pick well anyhow. He said she probably lying. But why, if she is lying, why isn't the other side saying otherwise or showing proof? Because to me, I think the onus, it's like, when you go to court and you got the process, what do you call it? You got the defense and you got the prosecution. And it's the prosecution's job to prove the guilt of the other person, the defense on the opposite side. So I feel like in this situation, it's the Trump administration's job to bring to support their actions. It's not the job of the wife. It's the job of the person who said you did wrong, right? Isn't that normally how it works? They bear the responsibility of proving someone's guilt. Like they got to show it. Innocent until proven guilty. So they bear that responsibility to prove that this person did wrong. You got to prove it. Like it's normally that's where the weight is. It's not on the other side. It's on the other side, the ones who's accusing. You gotta prove it. And if you can't prove your case, guess what? That's when you gotta keep it moving. You gotta prove your case. Trump administration bears that responsibility to prove their case because, like you say, anybody can say anything, right? Prove your case, Trump. Prove it. Ivan says, I don't care. We gave them opportunity to self-deport. They didn't take it. Yes, that opportunity was extended out there, and many of them did not take it. Yvonne says, Ivan saying send all they butts to prison, kids and all. That's what I given. That's what I'm getting. Ivan said, fuck that. Everybody got to fucking go. This shit's ridiculous. I just don't give a shit. Like, shit. Everybody take everybody, everybody, you can get it. You can get it. Mama, grandmama, grandpa, hell, take the babies there too. I even like shit. Send the wife and the baby there too. The baby looking for her daddy's shit. Send her goddamn there too. She can be with his goddamn ass. That's the energy I'm getting from Ivan. Like Ivan said, fuck with y'all. I don't give a shit what y'all say. Shit. Long as your monkey asses ain't here, I don't give a shit where you at. And it's a lot of people, y'all, that got that energy. It's a lot of people that got that energy. It is. So listen, I remember when Trump was on this, get rid of them, send them back. My energy was like, listen, y'all got to go. Y'all got to go. But when I seen that Seacock shit, I'm like, hold up, Chemo Sabe. Let's make sure that people really deserve to go to that goddamn place. So I even said it's either them and their kids or us and our kids. I'll choose us and our children 11. I hear you. 13 times out of 10. I hear you. I hear you, and I feel like there are a lot of people who feel that way. I feel like there's a lot of people who feel that way, and yeah, it comes a time when you got to draw a line and pick a side, and it's either bet on me or bet on them, and not the person with common sense gonna bet on themselves. Every man for themselves. So I get it. I get it. It's just sad that this is where we are, and we're having conversations like this. It's just crazy, but this is the situation to where people are just happen to draw a line, and it's just like survival of the fittest. Every man for themselves. And a lot of Americans are like, well, shit, they ain't here. So if they are in that prison wrongfully so, I mean, may the Lord be with them. But listen, you didn't need to be here. You shouldn't have been here. So that's why I say it's hard out here for a pimp. Like, it is hard. Y'all, that's what the hell they saying in Seacock. In unison. They say that shit in Spanish. How y'all say it's hard out here for a pimp in Spanish? Y'all, they are singing it. They going through it. It is hard out here for a pimp. That is what they saying at the Seacock. That is what they saying. But I'm going to say, I really believe that majority of the people who are there are rightfully there, who are there rightfully so are there. So I'm not losing no sleep over it. I promise you, I'm not losing no sleep over it. We just having conversation. Ivan said, remember this, if you want your children to inherit a better place than where we are, this is what we have to do. Growing pains. Remember I said, it's growing pains. It's a lot of growing pains. I have faith in 2 years, as a country, we will be in a better place. But it's hard, y'all. It's hard. Growing pains. Brolana says, really not, though. It's politics and how the average citizens are being told to hate each other while the politicians are breaking bread together, laughing at how they're profiting off of the division. I've said for a long time, I feel like for a long time, we've been more so divided by social economic class more so than like race. I feel like that most of the divide to what you're saying, Brolena, is not really about race. It's about social economic class, like the money, rich or poor, rich or poor. Um, yeah. Brolena says the divide is financial. Yes, I've felt this for a long time. I mean, I think racism is still a thing, but I think what's more serious today than racism is the divide from, with the by social class, them versus us, because there's either rich or poor. There's like what they say, the middle class is gone. It's either you got it or you don't. Like the middle class left years ago. Years ago, a lot of people, I'm seeing people on the internet who make good money, who got their own businesses, truck drivers, like they just work for themselves and they're just struggling. When on paper and looking at the income that they once was bringing in, you think, oh, that's middle class. But they like, my money don't look like that no more. That's my money don't look like that no more. I'm not middle. I don't feel middle class no more. I feel like I'm struggling. I'm poor. I don't know what my next check gonna look like, or if it's gonna be enough to cover all of my bills. Like these are real concerns that people have and that are keeping people up at night. That's the cat that has people starting up YouTube channels to talk about this stuff, to just get it off their chest, just to find a community, just to help them get through. Like a lot of people, their new way to make a living is to talk about their struggles. Do y'all understand that? There are so many people who are on the internet talking about their struggles. And by them talking about their struggles, they're able to make money from it because they're building a following. Because these companies on this, I ain't got it. They on a Tasha K, I ain't got it. Every day we're learning about a company who's shutting down or who's going bankrupt or who's doing layoffs. Hell, I'm wondering, hell, in the next 5 to 10 years, what percentage of people are going to have some type of content creation platform, some type of platform on like on a site, YouTube, TikTok, like, because this is what people are doing, and a lot of people are driven to do it out of necessity, because the other avenues that they've explored for money and resources is just not a viable option anymore. So they have to get out of their comfort zone, turn on the camera, and just be vulnerable. And a lot of people are growing and getting a lot of clicks and views and popularity from being vulnerable about their situation. The days of being like, oh, I don't want someone to know what I'm going through, that's over. Because you need for people to know what you're going through, because people will rally around you, show support, and bless you in ways beyond you could have ever thought. Brolena says nobody cares about the middle class. Ivan says, and he's been saying middle class disappearing like a decade before even running for president. Yeah, I just know, yeah, for years I've been feeling, it's been like around 10 years, probably like when I first got laid off in 2011. Yeah, because at that time when the market was bad, it mostly impacted that group of people when they lost their jobs. And I was impacted during that. So I would say, yeah, it's been like 10 years that has been a thing where it's been no middle class. And, people who are single with no children are feeling the impact of everything. And then people who have 2 incomes, who are married, are feeling the impact. It's like everyone's feeling it. Hell, everybody but the damn politicians. Even the damn actors and the singers and stuff. What we seen people saying they living in cars. A singer from the popular music group In Vogue saying she been living in a car for 3 years. Hell, I'm sure there's other ones out there that's living in a car too. They just ain't said it. She put it out there. She just was bold enough to put it out there to let people know what her situation is. And I'm pretty sure she has a social media platform. I think her YouTube channel has a huge following. I didn't even know she was on the internet like that. But I'm sure by her putting that out there and it been on her channel, it garnered a lot of clicks and views, which equates to money. Rolena says, yep, the only ones not affected are the politicians. Right, because Hollywood, there is no more Hollywood. How many of y'all heard that before? Hollywood is long gone. There is no more Hollywood. That's just not even a thing anymore. That's just not a thing. A lot of these actors, these people are struggling. These people are struggling. The politicians are the only ones that's getting to it. And they getting to it through lies and propaganda. And people now are waking up to where they're just not even here for it anymore. They're just like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I didn't you've been selling me these wolf tickets for the last however many years, 10, 14, 20. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. Because people aren't eating. They're able, their lies isn't feeding people. They their lives isn't feed their the lies aren't feeding people. It's just like people aren't benefiting from the lies that the government is saying. It's just a bad situation. I pray for better days. I feel like we will eventually have better days, but it's going to take a while, at least a couple of years. So we got to thug it out. We got to thug it out. We got to thug it out for at least the next 2 years. And I just think then we'll probably, we'll start to see some changes for the better where more people are employed, where people feel like they make enough on one job to pay their bills. Remember those days when you felt like you can work one job and pay your bills and have a little money in the bank? When the last time any of you felt that? It's been a minute. I sometimes wonder, like, wow, when I become an empty nester, will I feel that way? Because right now, it's just like everything goes out the door. And it's just like, okay, well, hell, when I become an empty nester, will I no longer feel like all my money is going out? But hell, I see people who ain't even got any kids who talking about what they don't have and the money and things like that. And they don't even have children. So it's not even like the ones who are single or don't have children are doing leaps and bounds better than the people who are married. It's just hard out here. Berlina says, right, it is a vicious cycle. We are tired. Hashtag we are tired. Hashtag we are tired. So many people are tired, exhausted. DJ said the middle class is fading. Yvonne said half of the Black Hollywood have started a podcast or YouTube channel to survive. Yes, everyone's starting, like, even as I hear some of these celebrities complain about their situations and getting taken advantage of, my first thought, you all, is like, damn, start a YouTube channel. Get on the internet, do a podcast, because that is what everyone's doing. And guess what? When you do that, guess what? You don't work or really report to anybody. You work for yourself. So the whole censoring and all of that, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. And that's the part I don't understand with these celebrities who have a huge following. Why not why not start up your own thing? Like, if you're losing your jobs from the television networks, the newsrooms, radio, why not start up your own thing? You have a following. I am someone who started from ground zero, where no one knowing me from a can of paint, that had to build a following. These people already has hundreds of thousands, some of them millions of followers. And the idea of just starting your own thing and building yourself and doing your own thing or your channel and making money that way isn't an option. Like, that's crazy to me. It makes no sense. It makes no sense why would I do, someone who's famous and known all over the globe, won't do it or can't do it. Like, it makes no sense. Like, where's the logic? Why choose to try to continue to work for someone who you say isn't paying you for what you're worth and all of that, when you can do your own thing? You can do it through content creation. Pick a platform. There's so many of them to choose from. There are so many to choose from. YouTube isn't everyone's cup of tea. TikTok isn't everyone's cup of tea. There's so many to choose from. God damn it, pick one. Because right now we are in a times to where we got to pick something. Everybody needs some type of extra gig, something else on the side. The one is not cutting it anymore. Ivan said, yeah, but you live in Atlanta. Most people there are spending on clothes and cars, clubs, and keeping up with the Joneses. That is heavy here, but I feel like at Florida, that's a thing too. Remember I told you about the lady who got her car repoed in Miami. Then she said, well, I want my car back now. I moved to Atlanta. I'm at my mama's house. I think that there's a lot of places to where that's taking place, where people are living above their means. I think California, that's heavy. I think Florida, that's heavy. Atlanta, of course, I think it's probably happens a bit in probably Texas as well. Anywhere I think where it's hot, where it's popular for with the cities, with the urban life, I think that is going to happen. That is a thing. Ivan says the strongest creators on YouTube moving their live stream exclusives to Rumble. I don't think I have. I think I have a Rumble account, but I've never done anything with it. I started it like years ago, or earlier on, probably within the first 2 years after maybe been on YouTube. A couple of years, I set up a Rumble account, so I'm not even familiar with how it works over there. I'm wondering why are they moving over to Rumble? Do you know, Ivan? So what's the deal with why they're choosing Rumble? Brolena says Atlanta has tons of entrepreneurs working for themselves. They do. Here's the thing: most entrepreneurs on records don't even have staff. They work for them. They don't even have employees. Atlanta does have a lot of entrepreneurs. Atlanta has a lot of realtors. So here's the thing with that: a lot of them are having to go back to corporate, go back and pick up other jobs. Amazon. They're real estate agents, and then by day and then at night they are Amazon workers. Like this is a thing. People are needing more than one thing right now. A side hustle, someone called it. Everyone needs a side hustle today because one income is not enough. It's very few people, very, very, very few people to where one income is enough. And what I mean by enough, just that, let me just break that down. My meaning for enough is to pay all your bills and to still have money in the bank to be comfortable until your next payday. That is just what I mean by enough. I ain't even going into no savings. I'm just saying basic. Say if you get paid every 2 weeks, you done paid your bills, and then you got a few dollars in the bank, enough, where you can get gas and get food, and then have some money for some other little unexpected things. It's not a lot of people whose situation is that with one income. They're in a hole. They're stealing from Peter to pay Paul. So they're borrowing in between pay periods. So guess what? When you get paid, you got to still pay back the person who you borrowed from because you didn't have it before. You see, it's a cycle. So guess what? When you pay them back, you back in a hole and don't have enough money to pay all your bills because half your check you had to pay back the person who you borrowed money from the last time, the last 2 weeks when things were due. This is the situation that people are in. Your mom says, yes, Ivan, I see several on Rumble. Ivan says Crowder Pool, Quantering, Viva, La Free. Those are different, what do you call it, platforms. Ivan says, how many hustles Elon got? Shit, Elon got a lot of hustles. You right. Like, to get to it, you got to have more than one thing. That's why I say people have to get out of their comfort zone because we are beyond the days of just being comfortably with just one. We have to get past that. We can't do that anymore. You have to have multiple, what they call it, streams of income. That has been my goal. Like this year, like I'm like, I need to get more than one stream of income because that's just where we are. That's why I don't desire to just have content creation to even be my be all end all because you just never know when just the politics. Remember, Twitter was down all of a couple of hours. Like you just never know when a social media platform will be removed. What do you have then? You seen all them people crying when at the thought of losing Twitter because their livelihood was centered around it. They had went out and bought cars and all kinds of stuff based off of that check that they was getting from Twitter. I don't want my lifestyle to be, on the money. I don't want my lifestyle to be dependent on social media because it's kind of fickle. Like you just don't know. It's nice to have it as a stream of income, but I don't want to put all my eggs in a basket in that. I really don't want all my eggs in a basket in any one thing. I want to just be like you say, Elon Musk, where you've got all these different things popping off. You got all these, you said not Twitter, TikTok. Thank you, Ivan. You got all these things popping off. Like, that's what you need to do. Like, we need to have we need to just tap into all these different things where we can bring in money from. These are the times we live in. I don't know hell when or if we'll ever go back to times where just having 1 gig is enough. I don't know. To me, with the way the direction that we're going, that's not really what is given to me. To me, it's given that it's a thing that you need to figure out what else you're going to do. That's everyone's homework. Find you a hustle. You need another hustle. You need at least 2 or more things, 2 to 3 streams of income. The more the merrier. Yvonne says Rumble is a place to voice your opinions and not be silenced. Okay. Ivan says most content creators on multiple platforms. Rolena says that's smart. Keep your options open. Ivan says expand your operation chic. So I have you all follow me over on TikTok. I haven't posted in probably a few weeks over there, but I have some short like videos of things that I clipped from my lives over here, because I wanted to try to feel my way through TikTok to kind of build and expand over there. So follow me over there. You can follow me on Chic Speaks on it over there. And I'm also on there. I have 2 profiles. I have Chic Speaks and Chic Speaks on it. So follow me over there. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to become more comfortable on other platforms. If I use StreamYard, I'll stream from Facebook. So I do have a Facebook. You can follow me over there on Chic Speaks. I've lately been, going live directly from YouTube from my phone because it's most convenient. But when I'm set up, have more like studio setup at my laptop, I use StreamYard. So when I stream through StreamYard, I'm live through YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I have a Twitch account. So I'll hit all 3 at the same time, but I can only hit them all when I go through StreamYard. But lately, it's just so convenient to just use my phone. So that's why it's just been kind of YouTube. But yeah, I'm trying to kind of expand into the other, the other sectors. I just got to study them because I know YouTube. I've been on YouTube forever. So this is like my playground. I know it is like everything else is just like, unexplored territory. So that's where I'm at with that. Ivan says legal streams of income. Yes, we will throw that in there. You're going to be goddamn sent to CCOT. Because I heard that what they said, Big U with the guy. Y'all seen the guy who was recently arrested? I think he was maybe Nipsey Hussle, the rapper who was killed some years back. His manager, but they recently arrested him for, I think they got a RICO charge on him, but from what I'm hearing, if he's found guilty, he could potentially be sent to CCOT. I said, Lord Jesus, I ain't seen that. No, nobody over in CCOT there wasn't a Hispanic. So he gonna stand out like a sore thumb out there in CCOT with his damn head shaved. It's gonna look real different on the footage of CCOT if you got Big U out there in the midst of a sea of Mexicans with skinheads. I'm just saying. Berlin said Nipsey Hussle manager possibly sent to CCOT. That's what I heard. I said, Lord Jesus, I don't even know I don't know if they want him to be the introductory to an American being over there, because I remember the president of El Salvador has already told him and Marco Rubio that, listen, we can house some of y'all prisoners over here too if y'all want it. Just let me know for a fee. We can house y'all prisoners too. So I don't know with Big U if they're willing to experiment with their first American, citizen being over there. But that's what I'm hearing, that it's a possibility that if he's convicted, that's where he can do his time. Ivan says, convenient to use my phone, knowing you can post free streams on laptop, get out your comfort zone. No, my phone is free too. Hell, I pay for StreamYard. That ain't free. Leave me alone, Ivan. I ain't gonna be fighting with you. I pay for StreamYard. But here's the thing. When I don't know what it is, but for some reason when I'm on my phone versus going through StreamYard or my setup, I don't know if it's how everything is flowing through the system with the algorithm, but it doesn't seem like my content circulates the same as it does when I go live on my phone. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, because I went live a couple of weeks ago from my StreamYard, my setup or whatever. It was one day during the week. And it was a different type of experience with my, with people seeing and finding me than it was with me using my phone. So I just didn't do it anymore because I'm like, okay, is it something centered around with the StreamYard, with the way it feeds through it? So that's why I just didn't go back to using my StreamYard whole setup because I'm like, okay, what's the deal here? But I got the accounts or whatever. So yeah, it's just been super convenient. But I'm not paying, this is YouTube. I'm not paying, I have the ability to just go live from my phone. That's pretty much it. Because it has no bearing on you all. It's just kind of with how I choose to kind of go live. It's more so on my end the change. You on the opposite end. It really don't kind of impact you all as far as with how I do it. But I will say when I use StreamYard, so usually when I use StreamYard, I'm showing videos and things like that. When I used to do other types of content, I think you're new to my channel more so. So if you look at some of my old videos, you'll see the type of content I used to do. And I did that. A lot of times I would do StreamYard and I showed videos. I would react. It was a popular content creator that I reacted to. So I would use StreamYard because I was showing like videos and things to react to. Lately, since I've been kind of talking politics, I've more so been doing it kind of impromptu with just going live on my phone, not scheduling things. So it's not as, I guess, professional like how I used to do it, where I would set up, have the thumbnail pre-scheduled. I ain't got time for all that. So I stopped doing that and just started just doing it the way that I'm doing it. And actually, this way has had me to build my following faster than when I was doing it the other way. So it's just, me finding what works for me. So we're just very close to 1,000 subscribers. So that's been my goal for this channel because that's pretty much all I need to have this channel monetized. I already have the watch hours, but I just needed the subscriber account. But I've been getting to it faster with doing this, pop up on my phone than when I would do do and be all grandesque. So I think, largely it's more so driven by just the topic and what people are interested in versus the setup. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what I've come to see, that it's just about if people are here for whatever it is that you're talking about at that time and not really all the other stuff. Because, yeah, my larger channel actually, I have more subscribers on that channel, but this smaller channel, as far as with the watch hours and things, I probably have actually more watch hours, or at least I know I got like over 100,000 watch hours on this channel. Like as far as like, it's crazy. I got it's a lot of watch hours on this channel. And this is my smaller channel, you all. I got a bigger channel. I just haven't been over there lately because I've been building this one. I just have to figure out, how what I want to do with the other one. But yeah, I've been working, but it's just, to build this channel here. So YouTube is very fickle. Content creation is fickle. You have to figure out what it is that people want. And what they say, give the people what they want. But the challenge is figuring out what they want. And then when you figure out what they want, then you give them more of that. So that's why I've kind of been in this lane where lately it's been a lot of heavy with like political type conversations, especially in the morning time, because people like tune in and I get a lot of views because it's something it's impacting people around the world, across the globe. So it's not very niche based, like say what I used to do on YouTube, where it was niche based, where say if I'm reacting to a content creator, everybody don't know who that content creator is. But if I'm talking about, tariffs, President Trump, the world pretty much knows who he is. So it's more people tapping in. So that's why I say you got to kind of figure it out. So then when you figure out, okay, people are tapping in on this political thing, you figure out, okay, how am I going to deliver it? How am I going to deliver it? How am I going to deliver it in a way that's going to catch people's attention? And beyond catching their attention, how am I going to deliver it in a way that's going to keep their attention? That is where I'm at with trying to iron all that out. Jason said hashtag cover up your Lexus. You gotta cover up the listen, I told these people to cover up them damn Teslas. You said cover up the Lexus. Oh my goodness, bro. Lana said, I don't know what they are being charged of, but again, don't wish CCOT on anyone. Yeah, you need to go to CCOT when there's receipts. I think unless there's receipts that you done some shit, you don't need to be over there. Cause it ain't for the faint at heart. It is not for the faint at hearts. Everybody can't handle CCOT. Everybody. Y'all remember when Suge Knight learned he was going to jail and his ass got weak in the knees and damn hit the y'all imagine if Suge knew his ass was going to I knew each other. Y'all remember when Suge Knight got weak in the knees when he got sentenced? I don't even know y'all what his sentence was, but it was enough for him to be like, oh Lord. He got weak in the knees. How do y'all think Suge Knight would have felt if they told him you going to CCOT? How do y'all think that man would have handled that news? You are going to CCOT. Hashtag you going to CCOT. Like, listen, that's just not what you want. CCOT is that place where we need receipts for CCOT. We need receipts for CCOT. Hashtag CCOT ain't what you want. Berlana Celia, why did I hear SWV weak in my head and see him faint? Yeah, you seen that big old man, he got weak in the knees. That man went down. I said, oh my. Mind you, Suge Knight was like the thug guy. I heard stories supposedly where he hung people over buildings and stuff. But then this man getting weak. He getting weak at the knees. When they tell his ass that he's got them ass going to damn lockup. Man, he would have damn stopped breathing. He probably did stop breathing that day. But they probably would have had to take him out on a stretcher if they told him he was going to goddamn CCOT. Oh my God. Jason, did you see that? Hell, his ass, listen, that big ass man got weak when they sentenced him. And they probably gave him something lightweight. I don't even know which Suge's sentence is, but the way he handled that news. Ivan says, I think we too soft with corrections here. Inmates be having dating profiles and live streams. You right. I be mad when I see the ones that got more followers than me. They be having YouTube channels. I be seeing them posting on their community page. Y'all, what kind of content y'all want from me? I said, hell no. You right. But I'm just saying, Ivan, that if you going to CCOT, we want to make sure that you rightfully there, not on some damn humbug. Ivan says, Suge got like 25 years. Okay, imagine 25 years and then CCOT, because I think CCOT is that place where you don't never get out right. I don't think CCOT operate from a parole system. I think once you get up in there, I think that's it. I think that's it. You get your one t-shirt, your one pair of drawers, your one pair of trousers, you get that haircut, and you get that hard ass bunk. That's about it. I don't even know what their food experience is, but I didn't see nobody that looked fat that was in CCOT. So I'm gonna say everybody is gonna be at a healthy weight or underweight. It ain't gonna be no overweight, nothing at the CCOT. Brolana says, nah, CCOT is your final destination. Well, how y'all think Big U gonna take it when they damn sentence him and they tell him he going to CCOT? Y'all think he gonna have the Suge Knight? It's gonna be the Suge Knight effect when he gonna get weak at the knees and hit. I'm just saying because that's a big man. I don't think somebody gonna be there to be able to pick his ass up when he wants to start falling out. I think they gonna let him damn hit the ground because he big. I think he just gonna have to hit the ground and then they kind of lean over him and just try to fan him. It ain't no catching. He not a catchable size or a catchable weight. Oh my God! Rolanda says he gonna be little you after the lack of food there. Lil you, he gonna have that Obama snatch waist. I compare anybody who want a small waistline, I call it the Obama waist. He finna have that Obama snatch waist. We ain't gonna even recognize him. But listen, this is where we at. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Ivan said, listen, I don't feel sorry for none of them. Hell, it is what it is. It's either them or me. So listen, I mean, I get it. But that's where we are today. These are the tough conversations that we've been having to have as of late. And there's going to be plenty of more of those conversations that are going to be needed to be had. And this is a place for it, you know. It's a place for it. Yvonne says, yes, R. Kelly just did a Chris Brown compilation from prison last week. Like, this is crazy. I think Tory Lane's got some music, but he in the Canadian, Tory in the prison in Canada, I think. But I think Tory Lane got some music coming out. Bro, Elena says, dang, you kidding? Like, oh, R. Kelly have done something. I've heard of R. Kelly doing some stuff from, I've some things from prison before. I saw that trend and I didn't listen to his Chris Brown residuals. So, Brolane, are you familiar? It's called a residual challenge. So it's different artists. Oh, with the residual challenge, there's different artists that are like singing Chris Brown songs. So I did see that R. Kelly jumped on and he did his, but I didn't show any interest in it or whatever. But like I said, I'm so used to just people in the penal system, people outside, people in a house, people just being able to do internet activity. It's like it just doesn't even matter like where you're at. If you got access to the internet, like you can do whatever. So, but this is, this is how it is. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy. But I guess maybe Big U gonna be able to start him a YouTube channel as the first black man in CCOT. I'm just saying, goddamn it, he gonna be the first one. Listen, everybody always remember the first, so he'll make history. He'll be able to talk about it. He'll be able to get him a YouTube channel, build up his following. he can do interviews with the other inmates as they tell their stories on how they got rounded up through the Trump administration and landed over there, and they thought they was going to work at the barbershop and never came back. Listen, he gonna be able to get all the tea. He just started him up a new YouTube channel. Brolena said no. Oh, damn. See, I tried to help him out, Brolena. You said it ain't no damn what. Listen. Yeah, he got to be in San Quentin for that. Yeah, he got to be at San Quentin for all of that. Yeah. Damn. Well, goddamn it, I tried. Y'all can't say I didn't try. I tried to give... I tried to create a little opportunity for him. I tried, but shit. Oh, well. Listen, as Ivan says, shit, you win some, you lose some. You can't save them all. But it's been real. I'm going to let y'all go. I want y'all to have a good rest of your evening. It's Friday. I'm a soccer mom, so I have soccer in the morning with my daughter, but I may try to be able to tap in with you all sometime again over the weekend. So stay tuned. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you have the notification bell hit so you know when I go live. Refresh that notification bell if you have problems getting the notifications. Yvonne says, girl, there's no internet there. Listen, I wasn't thinking. Listen, I'm thinking this damn San Quentin and Alcatraz or some shit. Hell, I'm new to here in America. There being internet, the way they be having these goddamn dating platforms. Like I've said, they be having dating platforms and everything. I forgot CCOT ran a little different. Basically, CCOT is ran the way the damn prisons should be goddamn ran, basically. CCOT, that the way they should be ran, that's how CCOT said. The president of El Salvador said, y'all fucking playing games out there. That's why y'all be having all them goddamn repeat offenders. You get you fucking CCOT and you put their asses in a CCOT, then they ain't going no goddamn where. Trump, that's your problem. That's why I'm saying if you need to send them over here, you can send them over here. I get them together. That's the energy that the El Salvador president is on. He said, Trump, y'all playing over there. Y'all playing. Holla at me. Holla at me when you ready to be serious. Holla at me. Rolanda says, Javon is all metal. Crazy. Well, listen, y'all. Big U said, y'all keep him lifting in prayer because he said he ain't do it. I don't know what he's saying, but everybody said they ain't do it. So I'm going to go on a whim and say he said, I ain't do it. But y'all have a wonderful evening. Yvonne said, have a safe weekend. Everyone have a safe weekend. Thank you for tapping in with me. And I will catch your next broadcast. Oh, yeah. You know, I like to say, take care of yourselves and one another. Heavy on to take care of yourself. Because you know what? We out here taking care of everybody but neglecting ourselves. Take care of yourself. And I will catch you on the next broadcast. Peace.